Hey everyone, please check my community page for said news updates and breaking news. Follow the Queen on the Newsbreak app. And if you'd like to donate to this great network, $McGangie, 129 Cash App, stickers and chats are always welcome during the live stream. Well, audio has been released to the public pertaining to the surviving roommates' 911 call on that fateful morning that their classmates, roommates were brutally murdered inside of this King Road home. We're going to try to dissect this information. And once again, I'm still just, I just don't know what to say. We're going to talk about Mr. Gonsalves as well. He's given his commentary on people trolling the young ladies and not having nice things to say. But I rarely apologize for anything that I say on my own network because I'm entitled to my opinion, but I don't understand the behavior of these two females. And I don't even understand the 911 call. I don't understand any of it. And you can't make somebody understand something. You can't make somebody believe something. So we're going to chop this information up during this live stream. Happy Saturday. Please be safe. There are storms from Florida all the way up here to East Tennessee. Tornadoes have touched down out west. In the south, so please be careful. Remember not to drive in water. Turn around, don't drown. And if a tornado is headed your way, please take cover in a basement, a cellar, get under a bed. If you can fit, of course, under something so you can stay safe. Thank you all so much for joining me. Hello, Edward. Oh, Edward. Where are you, honey? Are you under the bed somewhere listening to the Queen? Please be careful. Praying for all my friends in the South. As most of you know, I live here in East Tennessee, Knoxville, and we're supposed to get bad weather coming tonight. It has been raining. It was very dark. A little bit of light is popped up out. Not much light, but I'm just saying that it's still overcast outside right now. So prayers for everyone in the South. And also, I believe there's going to be winter storms up north, blizzards. So this is a terrible time right now from west to south to east. So everyone, please be safe. Let's get down to business, everybody. Nightline is the source.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. Tonight, the chilling 911 call by the surviving housemate in the Idaho College slang.
Raining was raining.
Awakening after the horrifying quadruple murder. Their confusion obvious, their terror palpable. Their nightmare only just beginning. Here's ABC's Kenna Whitworth.
Tonight, the frantic call for help.
911 location of your emergency. Something is happening.
Chilling new audio obtained by ABC News of a surviving roommate calling 911 nearly 8 hours after 4 students were stabbed to death in this home near the University of Idaho.
Something's happening in our house. We don't know what. What is the address of the emergency? 1122.
One of 2 surviving roommates is on the line, standing in the driveway, terrified and sobbing as she passes the phone to a neighbor who just arrived.
One of the roommates just passed out, and she was drunk last night, and she's not waking up. Okay. Oh, and they saw some man in their house last night.
The roommate is then heard again pleading with the dispatcher.
Can I just tell you what happened pretty much? What is going on currently? Is someone passed out right now? I don't really know, but pretty much at 4 a.m. Okay, I need to know what's going on right now if someone is passed out. Can you find that out? Yeah, I'll come. Come on, let's gotta go check. But we have to.
You can hear the young woman coaxing her roommate back into that house, and they make their way inside.
Is she passed out? She's not waking up.
You can hear the anguish. For the last 2 years, the murder of Kaylee.
All this is confusing because you don't really know who they're speaking of. We learned that one passed out in the driveway while talking, and somebody else comes and take the phone. So you're trying to decide, are we talking about the person passed out outside or someone inside? So then they're going back in the house, which is, this don't make no sense to me, because you have to be outside for a reason. It's winter time. So that would lead me to believe you saw something in the house, which led you to be scared to then pass out outside. So this is why the operator is saying, I need to know what's going on right now. One of them interjects to say somebody was seen in the house at 4 a.m. But see, this is why this doesn't make any sense, because you're talking about what happened at 4 and it's almost 12. The call went in at 11:58 a.m., this call that you're listening to. So anyone listening to this, you really have to try to pay attention, because different people are speaking, which is confusing the dispatcher, because she's trying to assess what's going on at the moment of your initial phone call. So initially someone's passed out, somebody else is grabbing the phone. This is all over the place, man. And what don't make no sense, you want to go back in. For what? For what? You want to go back in for what reason? And nowhere do I hear anything in this first seconds of conversation about a bloodbath. They look shot, they look stabbed. This don't make no sense. And in order for you to know that somebody's passed out, you have to be upon the person. So where were these bodies at to even be discussing Xana? Man, this shit is weird to me. I'm not trying to be rude, but this shit is whack. Sorry, but this is whack. This shit is whack to me.
Haley Gonzalez, Madison Mogan, Xana Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin have gripped the nation. And the lawyers for the alleged killer, Brian Kohberger, say he is innocent. The former PhD student was arrested weeks after the murders.
The defense has tried to cast doubt on one of the surviving roommates' credibility.
Today, the family of victim Kaylee Gonzalez defending the survivors in a statement saying that every breath, every cry, every tremor in the voice reveals a reality so cruel, so brutally honest, it cuts deeper than anything fiction could devise. Please do not waste your energy pointing fingers at those who could not have prevented it.
So let's interject here. Well, Mr. Gonzalez, we are outsiders looking in, just like you once were an outsider looking in, trying to ascertain what's been told to you by law enforcement, the coroner, so on and so forth. So we are now getting a glimpse from affidavits. We first got affidavit information. We couldn't understand what they were talking about even then. The phone passing around, who saw what, how long it took for the call to go in. And now we're hearing bits and pieces of an audio. And it's just as confusing now with actual voices on a phone versus he said, she said from an affidavit. I'm not here to blame these women for the murders. Where I have the problem, it's the time frame of not calling 911. That's where I have the problem. And you can't tell me how to think. You're entitled to think whatever you want, Mr. Gonzalez, and any of the other parents, anybody in the story. You are entitled to your opinion. Well, an outsider, they're also entitled to their opinion. And you can't explain this. This don't make no sense. Just listening to the actual 911 call, just a few snippets, this don't make no sense. Because it's all over the place. Even the conversations from the affidavit don't make no sense. Because allegedly this person don't remember nothing. They're drunk, remember nothing. So how do you think this is going to work out when it's time for trial, sir? Dylan don't remember nothing. So let me ask this question. Bethany, she won't remember nothing either. You're not being realistic, okay? I'm not in your shoes. I didn't lose a child brutally. But I know that all of this don't make no sense. And I'm not here to say that these kids have anything to do with the murders of the four. I'll come in with horses and donkeys and shit. I'm just saying the behavior that night is off to me, naive to me. I don't navigate like these young people. And even when I was their age, I didn't navigate like them. That's the point I'm trying to make, that everybody is different. We get it. Everybody behaves different. But you can't get mad at people for saying the shit is strange. It is strange. Because it's confusing just listening to the 911 call itself. You can't get mad at people for that. And I'm going to say it, and I'm going to keep saying it. I wouldn't want these kids as my friends. That's my opinion. And I tell people this all the time. You need to know your friends. You do need to role play with people. I think that's the best way to get to know people, quite frankly. Role play. Throw out a situation and ask them, what would you do? Just like the ABC TV show. What would you do? Well, I think we all should do this with our friends and our neighbors and the so-called people you think you like and you trust. You should role play with them. Just put a bunch of hypotheticals in a box. One night, everybody sit around the table with a box of popcorn and put a bunch of hypotheticals on sheets of paper in a box, and everybody pulls out a sheet of paper with a hypothetical. You might be kind of surprised at your answers. Obviously, these girls never role play. They pretended to be each other in one of their videos. That was a joke. Remember? You said your own daughter liked to play pranks. I don't understand how anybody would think this was a prank. Help me understand. I'm just saying.
Over the last few weeks, more evidence has been released, helping paint a picture of what happened that November night in 2022.
We're getting a different glimpse at evidence like DNA on their fingernails, text messages, and phone calls.
Yes, Sue.
Timelines that we never heard or saw before. The dots are beginning to connect.
Transcripts showing time-stamped text messages between the two survivors after one told authorities she saw a man clad in black in the home the night of the murders. The filing reveals she tried unsuccessfully to reach the victims. Between 4:22 and 4:24 a.m., the surviving roommates text each other, "I'm freaking out right now." No, it's like a ski mask almost. The survivor on the first floor texting back, "Run down here." It's unclear what happened next, but about 6 hours later, one of the survivors tries again but can't reach the victim's phone by text. Texting Kaylee, "Please answer." Texting Madison, "Are you up?" And just before noon, more than 7 hours after the murders, that 911 call is made.
In creating those kind of points of when communications occurred and when a time of death had occurred, prosecutors are able to drive home the fact that there was an opportunity and a time that these murders could have occurred and directly point at Brian Kohberger as being the individual based on his location, based on his cell phone when he traveled from one location to another, and that period when no one could track him.
Brian Kohberger's attorneys don't want.
The defense is making the argument that this is hearsay, an out-of-court statement said for the truth of the matter asserted. But the prosecution is arguing the text messages, the phone calls. It's not meant to prove the contents of those messages, but to show a timeline, to show how people were.
I agree. This is not hearsay. This is somebody's actual words being typed into a device. So it's not hearsay. It's not somebody going into court saying, "This is what Bethany said to me. This is what Dylan said to me. This is what I heard coming from over here, over there." This is not coming from a book, a journal. This is coming from actual text messages with a time stamp on them. So this isn't hearsay. I agree. Why the defense does not want this in? Why not? Let you tell it. Kohberger is not the guy. That ain't his knife that was used, that we ain't never found. The knife sheath don't belong to him. Don't know how his DNA got on it. Oh, he was stargazing. He ain't the person. So what difference do it make about the damn text messages? Make it make sense, Annie? Do you have any other bright ideas of who might have killed these kids since it's not your client, Mr. Kohberger? You've been playing games for over 2 years now. Give it a rest. You don't want the genealogy DNA mentioned, which the stupid state, you've agreed to that. I don't know why you would agree to that. So how are you going to introduce it in court, how you came to find Kohberger, if you can't mention the damn genealogy search? This is getting stupid. This is getting stupid now. How are you going to introduce it in court? I don't understand. So they're not going to hear how you all came to find Kohlberger and the DNA on the sheath. So you're not going to mention nothing about the sheath, nothing about the discovery of his DNA on there. So you're going to talk about everything else. Well, I sure hope you have a whole lot more than just the footprint, his searches, his phone pinging there and car being seen, and bushy eyebrows walking by me in the hallway. I'm just saying. Because all it takes is one person to be skeptical on the jury. All it takes is one to hang a jury. And I'm not saying the jury's going to be hung. I'm just speaking common sense. It happens all the time. People get confused. And I would not have agreed to not let the DNA search be allowed. Because in the end, his rights were not violated. That is somebody else putting their DNA in the genealogy database. Has nothing to do with Kohlberger. He just so happened to be related to somebody who put their DNA in there. So you're mad at who? Kohlberger's father? This is so stupid. This is the stupidest merry-go-round. Oh, you're violating his civil rights. He didn't have any fucking rights. He didn't put his DNA in there. And even if you agreed to do it, you know the stipulations for putting your information into the database. Nobody's putting a gun to somebody's head to say, hey, put your DNA in ancestry in here. Putin didn't tell him to put it in there. Putin didn't force him. Now I'm getting a little sick of your ass too. Because you've just about right. You ain't got no sense for an attorney. Oh, they're violating his rights. How's somebody violating your rights because somebody's related to you that put their DNA in an ancestry database? These people, this is ignorant. Hello, Christopher. Hello, everybody in the chat.
Reacting and how this murder occurred throughout the time frame that they're arguing.
Kohlberger had been working on his PhD in criminology at Washington State University, about 8 miles across state lines from the University of Idaho, where Kaylee, Maddie, Xana, and Ethan were just starting their futures.
They were all friends and had shared a life together in college and were looking forward to going on and hopefully doing great things, whether it was together or apart. And all of that came to a sudden halt.
The horrific scene unfolding the night of November 12th, 2022. Kaylee and Maddie, newly 21 and lifelong best friends, went to a popular campus bar around 10 p.m. They're later seen at the grub truck, laughing and ordering food. And this video appears to be the last time they were seen alive before turning in for the night. Authorities say their roommate, Xana, and her boyfriend, Ethan, both 20, were at a fraternity party earlier that same night, arriving home around 1:45 a.m. There's 3 stories to the house. Kaylee and Maddie were together in Maddie's room on the 3rd floor. Kaylee's dog Murphy was alone in Kaylee's bedroom just down the hall. Ethan was staying over that night in Xana's room, which was on the 2nd floor. One of the other roommates in the house also on the 2nd floor, and one in a bedroom on the 1st floor.
Everything was so normal in that home on King Road. Nobody could have imagined it was about to become a house of horror.
Police responding to a 911 call just before noon, hours after law enforcement say the murders happened.
When the lead sergeant goes into the house.
Let me address somebody in the chat. She didn't want her talking about 4 a.m. This is why too many people should not have been talking. She's being specific. This is what people don't understand about 911. 911 is just like when you go to court. You can only talk about what happened at the time. This is why people get so fucked up when they go to court, because they don't know how to talk. You're talking like you're in the street. You can't talk like that in court. When you call 911, it's the same thing. You can't be talking about over here, over there. You've got to be specific, because they're all talking about different things. So she's confused. First, you start off saying somebody's passed out. Then you're starting to talk about inside the house. What the lady don't know what you're talking about. That's what everybody don't seem to understand. You can't go from over here, and then somebody else takes the phone because somebody passes out, and then this person starts saying something about the house. So now she's looking like, well, who the hell is this on the phone? She needs one person to stay on page to say, why are you calling me right now? That's what people don't get. You can't get mad at the dispatcher. You can't have 4 or 5 people talking, and then 4 or 5 people are talking about 4 or 5 different things. She don't know what you're talking about. I can honestly say, if right now, if I didn't really focus on the audio, I wouldn't know what they're talking about. Because it goes from A to F very quickly. You start off, somebody passed out. This is why everybody has been arguing for 2 years what they were talking about. So you're talking about passed out. I don't even, matter of fact, I'm not even getting ready to go on a record to say I know what the fuck they're talking about. I don't know if you're talking about the girl outside or the people on the inside. You know why? Because when you decide you want to go back inside, it don't even seem like there's no urgency. The kids were stabbed to death. You don't even hear any of that in their description. We didn't hear it when they released the affidavit. We don't hear it here. That's why people are confused. We can go back and play it. I wouldn't think it's an urgency. That's all I'm going to say. I didn't think it 2 years ago. And I said it the other day in the live. If we go to trial, listen at the transcripts, listen to this 911 call. If I don't hear nothing in that damn 911 call that says, she's bloody, he's bloody, there's footprints with blood, man, that's going to be a problem. This is going to be a problem. This is going to be a problem. Exactly. 4 a.m. is already past. She ain't trying to focus on 4 a.m. because in her mind, she knows I got to focus on why you're calling me now. That's what makes it all look so bad. Why are you going to bring up 4 a.m.? And then let me tell you something for you all that ain't paying attention. Do you know how bad that's going to look in court? Because they're going to play this back. They're going to play this back. And that's the first thing somebody's going to say. That's what the defense attorney's going to say. Why are you talking about 4 a.m.? It wasn't too important. You didn't call 911. Come on now, let's keep it real. Saying, I'm not trying to be rude, but this is what people don't understand about the judicial system. They work the same. The dispatcher is no different than going to court. When you go to court, the judge asks you specific questions. And they'll tell you when you're getting off course. Hey, I ain't talking about that. I need to know what happened. Don't tell me about what your mother ate for breakfast. Don't tell me about the baby was crying in the background. What were you doing? What did you see? The dispatch is trained identical as a judge. You tell me why you are calling me right now. I don't want to talk about the grub truck. I don't want to talk about DoorDash. Opening and closing doors. Because let me tell you what a dispatch would say to you. You tried to go on and on about that stuff. Well, why didn't you call us then? Hello? You're calling me at 12 o'clock noon, ma'am, sir. Why are we talking about ski mask? People whimpering. Now, just follow my lead now. Why are we talking about ski mask? Why are we talking about doors opening and closing? Why are we talking about you yelling at your friends? Why are you telling me you tried texting them and nobody answered? Why are we talking about this at 12 noon? And that's exactly what's going to happen in court. Annie is going to beat their brow. You were so concerned that you got up and texted your friend at 4 a.m. You're going on and on and on about ski mask and I'm scared, I'm this, but it didn't dawn on you. Something is not right with the guy in the ski mask because my friends aren't answering their cell phones. So you telling me you didn't get up to go check. Y'all better pay attention because I'm woke. You didn't think to get up out your bed in the same house. You're not calling across the street. You're not calling across campus. You're not calling to Washington. You're calling in the same house. This is no different than people calling each other in the house to say dinner's ready and texting. Yeah, I'm going to go there. Ring, 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 ring. What you doing? Nothing. Well, come on downstairs. It's time to eat. Help me understand. Because in the end, you got to explain this in a court of law, and it ain't going to be pretty. You're so concerned, but you don't get up out your bed. What are you going to say? What are they going to say? Just saying. They're not ready for this, I'm trying to tell you.
He later told people how the high smell of blood rose up in his nostrils.
Exactly.
It took him back.
This is a brutal crime scene. These victims were not shot.
Let's repeat what that guy just
They were
said.
stabbed to death.
Say the murders happened.
When the lead sergeant goes into the house, he later told people how the high smell of blood rose up in his nostrils, and it took him back.
This is a brutal crime scene. These victims were not shot.
The lead detective said the smell of blood rose in his nostrils. I want you to think about that. When you got up that morning in the room with Bethany, you smelled nothing. I have told you all what blood smells like from my recollection from 1993, going into a house where a person killed themselves and the person unalived themselves upstairs on the second floor. So if I could smell their blood at the front door, I'll let that sit right there. And maybe all this was meant to happen. Me going into this house where my cousin unalived himself to later spin this story to you pertaining to the Idaho 4 to give you a, for instance, you can smell blood even in a whole other room and part of a house. I hadn't even got into the living area, just opened the door and stepped in and smelled blood, okay? So now, wake up, bottom level, what do you smell when you first wake up? There's something off here. And I'm gonna be truthful. The more I listen to this case, the more pissed off I become. I'm just pissed off right now, okay? That's why it's always good to talk to people who have experienced something similar so you can understand death. If you've never been around death, then you can't understand it. So that's why I can speak from experience. You will know the smell. So now I'm going to ask these two females, when you got up that morning, what did you smell? Because I refuse to believe you did not smell blood and death. Death has its own unique smell. And one person was bleeding out above you. Bethany, if your room was to the right on the bottom level, above you, someone bled out. Literally. Make it make sense.
They were stabbed to death.
What was baffling to police, they say, is that it didn't appear that there was any forced entry. It doesn't appear that any of the victims had been sexually assaulted.
And weeks later, Koberger was arrested at his parents' home in Pennsylvania.
Last night, detectives arrested 28-year-old Brian Christopher Koberger.
Since his arrest, prosecutors have maintained that surveillance footage, cell phone records, and DNA evidence link Kohberger to the murders. And the linchpin is Kohberger's DNA.
We're not just talking about his DNA happened to be found in, a dresser drawer or something. It was found on a knife sheath where 4 people were killed by a knife. This is as crime scene as it gets.
But Kohberger's attorneys have tried to have that crucial DNA evidence dismissed, claiming it was unlawfully obtained using public genealogy websites.
If you can upload one of these profiles for $12 and find out all kinds of information, how is that not a Fourth Amendment issue? That was done twice without a warrant in this case.
Kohberger's attorneys also argued that authorities violated the law when they used a garbage collector to retrieve trash from the Kohberger family home. It's in a gated neighborhood in Pennsylvania. And according to his lawyers, they did it without a warrant. The FBI allegedly using the garbage to make that DNA match.
Once an item has been discarded, it's trash. Everybody knows this. Once you discard something in the garbage, it's trash. So what are you all crying about? What the FBI did inappropriately as far as asking the trash men to bring the trash. Detectives have been going into trash bins for years to retrieve evidence, such as you smoke a cigarette and throw your cigarette butt down on the ground. I take a picture or video of you smoking that same cigarette, you throw it on the ground. I pick up the cigarette, put it in an envelope, plastic bag, send it to the lab. It comes back your DNA. How have I violated your Fourth Amendment right? Drink cup at the restaurant. Drink cup thrown down on the ground. How are your rights violated from you throwing away a cup? Left a cup on the table. That's your choice. You can put your fingerprints and saliva on the glass. You know you've committed a crime. Why are you eating in public? Checkmate. And I've said this earlier. I don't know why you all allowed him to travel all the way to Pennsylvania. None of that makes any sense to me. You made a mark on Kohberger, my understanding, 2 weeks after the killings. The car was spotted in Washington on the apartment campus, the apartment where he lived. You put 2 and 2 together, Mr. Police Officer, from the description from Idaho of the bushy eyebrows. And that's how Kohberger came into view, from my understanding, before the DNA on the sheet. Checkmate. So, Eddie Taylor, you don't know what you're talking about. His car was made before the DNA came through, lady. This is why I was telling everybody, you have to pay attention to the details. Nobody went after Kohberger, some nondescript 28-year-old white man that nobody cared about or knew a fucking thing about. Nobody planted nothing. Nobody set him up. How easy would it have been to set up somebody that knew the kids, somebody that lived close to the kids? Come on, keep it real. Just a random white guy.
I think it is different when you have the FBI telling the trash man what to do.
But prosecutors have argued all facets of the investigation, including the DNA and the use of public genealogy databases, were done properly.
The individuals who are utilizing these databases, and we're talking about millions of them, are willingly sharing their information with each other. The issue is that no one sharing this information with millions of other people could have a reasonable expectation of privacy.
And the judge siding with the state, allowing the DNA evidence to be presented to the jury. Kohberger's jury trial is slated to begin in August, and the 2 surviving roommates are expected to testify. His defense team attempting to strike down the death penalty on the basis of his autism spectrum disorder. For the family and the loved ones of the victims, the years-long nightmare continues. as they just hold on to their memories.
Kaylee is like the definition of sunshine.
To know Kaylee was to love Kaylee.
Kaylee and Maddie had been best friends since 6th grade.
They did absolutely everything together. First dates, first boyfriends, graduated high school. They had their first heartbreaks together. Kaylee was 12, 13 years old. They were blasting Taylor Swift in the basement, comforting each other.
If I had one or two words to describe Maddie Mae, it would be just an angel. She just made me proud.
Xana was in the same sorority as Maddie. She was dating Ethan, a freshman, and also a triplet.
My first impression of Ethan was he's just this huge dude that you wouldn't really approach, but as soon as you really got to know him, you realize that he's like one big teddy bear.
This case has been so fraught for so long now, for this small community and for a nation that has watched getting whoever was responsible for these killings, getting them brought to justice in whatever way the jury decides. That's what we're going to start to see this coming August.
Our thanks to Kana. For much more in this story, watch
All right. Killing Rose.
The King Road Killings.
Hulu.
Now streaming on Hulu.
All right, because he's getting ready to go talk about P. Diddy. We ain't getting ready to hear nothing about that crazy nonsense. We'll talk about him another damn day. Oh, Lord, where do I begin? Autistic. Really, Annie? Are you serious? So, we've gone from stargazing to autism. Autistic. You are really reaching, lady. He's autistic. What does that have to do with these kids? The brutality of the crime itself. What does it have to do with it? Help me understand. He's autistic. And what's your point? Well, what is your point, lady? Mr. Gonsalves doesn't want people blaming the roommates, trolling them. Mr. Korberger's autistic. Defense attorneys feel like the FBI should not have gotten the trash people to retrieve the trash from the Pennsylvania home. And also Mr. Korberger's rights were allegedly violated by going into genealogy databases to look up anyone with similar DNA. How is that a violation of someone's right? You put your information into the database willingly. So it's not a violation of your right. So as I said, you are mad at Mr. Korberger Sr. for having his DNA and ancestry inside of the damn database. Are you serious? The genealogy has been explained, how it works. Male on male DNA. That whoever is related to the Korberger Sr. would be a male, which he only has one son, to my understanding, and that's Mr. Brian Christopher Korberger. Checkmate. So, Annie Taylor, what the hell are you talking about? Help us understand this 911 call. Somebody in the chat, because I'm utterly confused. I don't understand any of it.
What is the address of the emergency? 112.
One of two surviving roommates is on the line, standing in the driveway, terrified and sobbing as she passes the phone to a neighbor who just arrived.
One of the roommates just passed out, and she was drunk last night, and she's not waking up. Oh, and they found some.
So that's right there telling you they're speaking of somebody in the house, not the person outside. Because to say somebody's drunk, passed out, no, somebody's passed out and was drunk from last night. Well, what would that have to do with the person outside? So this is why I say you have to listen to the information. Let's play it again.
The emergency. 112.
One of two surviving roommates is on the line, standing in the driveway, terrified and sobbing as she passes the phone to a neighbor who just arrived.
One of the roommates just passed out, and she was drunk last night, and she not waking up. Okay. Oh, and they saw some man in their house last night.
The roommate is then heard again pleading with the dispatcher.
Can I just tell you what happened pretty much? What is going on currently? Is someone passed out right now? I don't really know, but pretty much at 4 a.m. Okay, I need to know what's going on right now.
Well, I don't really know. That makes no sense. This conversation makes no sense. You're this hysterical that you can't explain basic English. I'm not trying to be a bitch, but come on. This don't make no sense. That's why the lady keeps saying, I need to know what's happening right now. So one's on the ground, somebody else is speaking, and now you're jumping to 4 a.m. This is a problem. Oh, man. So I'm assuming the one talking about 4 a.m. is the one that saw Brian Kohlberger, allegedly. So who's on the ground, Bethany? Because that's one thing no one's told us. Who's on the phone? Let's play it again.
Right now, if someone is passed out, can you find that out? Yeah, I'll come. Come on, Bethany, you gotta go check.
Yeah, I'll come. Come on, let's go. We gotta go
You
check.
can hear the young woman coaxing her roommate back into that house.
That makes no sense.
I don't really know, but pretty much at 4 a.m. Okay, I need to know what's going on. If someone is passed out, can you find that out? Yeah, I'll come. Come on, Bethany, you gotta go check. But we have to.
You can hear the young woman coaxing her roommate back into that house. And they,
can I just tell you what happened pretty much? What is going on currently? Is someone passed out right now? I don't really know, but pretty much at 4 a.m. Okay, I need to know what's going on right now if someone is passed out. Can you find that out? Yeah, I'll come. Come on, Bethany, you gotta go check.
Yeah, come on, Bethany, let's go check. I heard her. She said, Bethany. Yeah, I'll come. Come on. Wait a minute. Hear it again.
On currently, is someone passed out right now? I don't really know, but pretty much at 4 a.m. Okay, I need to know what's going on right now if someone is passed out. Can you find that out? Yeah, I'll come. Come on, Bethany, you gotta go check.
She's talking to Bethany. So that's Dylan talking. Because Dylan is the one with the 4 a.m. story. Help me understand, why do you all need to go back in the house? You ran out for a reason, did you not? Because you saw something in the house that was not favorable. This don't make no sense. God, somebody help Queen understand. Come on, Bethany, let's go back in. For what? To do what exactly? None of this conversation makes any damn sense to me. I don't understand. We gotta go check. Check what? You came out of there or there, stood there, because you saw something in there or there. Come on, let's keep it real. So you are calling 911 out here. Pookie, Ray Ray, Bubba comes by, see you pass out, they get on the phone, which leads me to believe you all called other people before calling 911, because how can a stranger get on the phone and explain something when they don't know nothing? Bingo card. Hot damn. Because that was said too 2 years ago. You all were calling other people before calling 911. Is that true? Because that won't sit well with many people. That's not going to sit well in court with 12 members of a jury. That's why I tell you have to pay attention to shit. Let the evidence play out before forming an opinion. You got to go back in to do what? You're out here in the cold for a reason. You're not out here stargazing. It's 12 noon. You're calling 911 out here for a reason because you saw something in there that wasn't kosher. So why do we need to go back in? For what? Make it make sense. I'm woke. Are you all woke? The one had no problem having to go check and follow directions. The other didn't want to. Where was the male at that point too? Because they get inside the house, he is speaking. Right. If I found my friend's dead, why am I going back in there? That's all I'm going to say. Most people will not want to go back in because you have to start at the beginning of the story. And the beginning is 4 a.m. where nobody calls 911. Just a bunch of texting. One running out from the second floor and running down here to one of these rooms with Bethany to wake up. I play hopscotch again with Kaylee's phone, no answer. And then you had to have gotten up to see something in that house to run out here because you can't be out here crying because you're bored. So that means you saw something in there before 12 to be out here crying to call 911 at 11:58. So I'm trying to understand, why are we going back in here? Let's play it again because this don't make no sense.
But we have to. Can I just tell you what happened pretty much? What is going on currently? Is someone passed out right now? I don't really know, but pretty much at 4 a.m. Okay, I need to know what's going on right now if someone is passed out. Can you find that out? Yeah, I'll come. Come on, Bethany, you gotta go check.
See? Come on, Bethany, we gotta go check. Bingo, right there. So Bethany's up. She's not down. How long was this phone call? Because something's off here too. I bet everybody's like, oh, damn it, that damn queen. Queen's woke. Hell yeah, I'm woke. So, Dylan is talking about 4 a.m. or is that not Dylan? If I need to be corrected, I don't have a problem. Who is talking here? Let's go. We gotta go check, but we have to. Who is this person speaking? But it says second floor roommate. Ding, ding, ding. Right there. So that's Dylan. Duh. Damn, queen. Right in front of you, queen. So Dylan is talking. I wish somebody in the chat would say, Queen, I'm reading your mind. I'm waiting to hear somebody say, Queen, I'm reading your mind, baby. Queen, I'm on page with you, baby. Hold on a minute, everybody. Check my cords. I got cords running everywhere. Hold on. I just want somebody to say, Queen, I understand what you're saying, baby. I think I know where you're going, baby. Hold on, everybody. Let's see. Oh, Lord. Let's tear something up. Sorry about that, everybody. Is there somebody? Yeah, it's right there in front of us. Dylan is doing the talking in this audio. And where I'm getting ready to take this, Lord forgive me. That's why you gotta always keep replaying stuff so you can hear what's being said. Oh, Lord. I'd rather somebody in the chat say it. Because I don't want to say it. Are you all sure somebody was passed out outside? Ding, 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 ding. If you listen closely, because it's right up here, they're showing us, because I missed that at first. Second floor roommate would be Dylan. Her room's up there. That sits right there in that little hallway where the kitchen is. Yeah, I'll come. Come on. We got to go check. But we have to. So she's addressing someone, which would be Bethany, I'm assuming, because I did hear Bethany's name. So she's addressing this to Bethany. I'm hoping somebody can catch where I'm getting ready to go with this. Say it again, Queen, because somebody in the chat I know is smart. You all are going round and around about somebody passed out, and the dispatcher don't know what the hell you're talking about. So I'm going to read this and see if somebody catches where I'm going. Second floor roommate. Yeah, I'll come. Come on. We got to go check. But we have to. Think again. Yes, one don't want to go, which would be Bethany. But think about what was said at the beginning of the call, which got us all riled up in this nonsense in the first place. What has the dispatch tried to get an understanding about? Please, somebody, say it. I don't want to say it. I want somebody in the chat to say it. I'm giving you all a hint. The dispatcher wants to know who's passed out. Okay? Exactly. Who's passed out? I don't want to talk about 4 a.m. I don't want to talk about Pookie, Bubba, stargazing. I want to talk about... Sorry about that. I'm buffering. I'm going to say it again. Because I don't want to say it. I want somebody else to say it for me. The dispatcher says, I want to know what's going on right now. Who's passed out? Somebody says, I got to go check. And then you hear her address Bethany. So that means there's nobody passed out here. Checkmate. Anybody following, Queen? How can Bethany be passed out, but yet somebody's talking to her? In the beginning of all this, they clearly said someone was passed out outside, I thought. Exactly. That's where I'm going. That's what everybody thought for 2 years, that somebody outside passed out, and that's why the phone was playing hot potato with the phone. But you clearly hear Dylan, because it says it right here, second floor roommate. This is her talking on the audio. So now you got to ask, who is Dylan talking to? I hear her say Bethany. How could I be talking to Bethany if Bethany is passed out on the floor outside? Checkmate. Play it again.
You can hear the young woman coaxing her roommates were stabbed to death in his home near the University of Idaho.
We don't know what. What is the address of the emergency? 1122.
One of 2 surviving roommates is on the line, standing in the driveway, terrified.
Don't it kind of sound like somebody saying, no, 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 no? No, like I don't want to go in there. Dylan is the one making the call. Are you all sure that somebody passed out outside? That's where I'm going. Because if at some point in this audio, if you listen carefully, she calls Bethany by name and she's addressing someone. So if she's not talking to Bethany, then who is she talking to? So are we sure that somebody actually passed out outside?
Terrified and sobbing as she passes the phone to a neighbor who just arrived.
One of the roommates has passed out, and she was drunk last night, and she's not waking up. Okay. Oh, and they saw some man in their house last night.
The roommate is then heard again pleading with the line, standing in the driveway, terrified and sobbing as she passes the phone.
Pay attention.
Who just arrived.
One of the roommates has passed out, and she was drunk last night, and she's not waking up.
Bingo card right there. Number one, what did you see to make you run out? Number two, how many people are standing outside? Number three, is somebody actually passed out outside? Make this comment make sense. One of the roommates who's passed out and she was drunk last night and she's not waking up. That don't sound like somebody outside. That sounds like somebody inside. So this girl has a deeper voice who's a neighbor, but look at the words. One of our, then she stops. One of the roommates, bingo card. That's not what I'm saying, Britt. Y'all not understanding what the queen is saying. Obviously, nobody has listened to this audio that I played. I'm not going to play it again. You all are missing my point. What did they tell you the detective smelled when he got into the apartment, to the house? He said blood rose up in his nose. Blood rose up in his nose. So the neighbor says, because I think y'all are missing the point. One of our, she catches herself. Oh, one of the roommates who's passed out. She was drunk last night. She's not waking up. First of all, you're an outsider. How do you know this person was drunk? Where's the urgency? She's bleeding, she's bloody. And how do you know what's going on before the dispatch is called? You're standing here while the call is going into the dispatch. Exactly, Crazy P. This is why I always tell people you have to listen. Stop assuming stuff. Listen to the information that's been given to you. The girl here does not live here. How do we know? Because the other ones are dead. The other people are dead in the house. So she catches herself talking. She says, one of our, caught myself, one of the roommates. So now she has to clarify, because she don't stay here. Who's passed out? How do you know who's passed out in this house? You don't stay here. Exactly, that's where I'm going. You all know the queen's a hard nose. This is why I'm a hard nose, because nobody listens. This is why I keep playing it, trying to get you all to catch it without me having to say it. It's what I've asked the past week. How long were these girls up? When did they go to sleep? Did they walk through the house and know that their friends were dead and still didn't call 911? What if you find out they were in this house walking around looking at dead people? How are you walking by people dead and don't know they're dead? How is a stranger explaining to a dispatch dead people passed out or whatever? You don't stay here. So that means these people had to have been talking to her. So that's why I said, how long was this conversation going on with neighbors, other college kids walking up before 911 was called? Okay? I don't care that they were their friends. You're not listening. I'm a neighbor. I don't know no more than what you're telling me. How do I know what the fuck happened in here before the dispatch? That's the point I'm making. You don't stay here, yet you know someone in there is passed out before 911. That's the point I'm trying to make. And I'm also trying to make the point of, if somebody passed out here, how is Dylan addressing her? I didn't know that you could talk to people passed out. How do they respond if they're passed out? Make it make sense. Exact. Thank you, Lolo. Because somebody trying to make Queen like she fucking slow. I'm not slow. I'm 54 years old. I've been a college student. I've been an adult. I am an adult, and I'm not dumb. This is why you have to always rewind stuff to make it make sense. That's why I'm chopping it up every few seconds. You can't tell the dispatch about in there. You ain't been in there. Well, I'll tell you what. Ain't shit been covered no damn where. Don't come over here with that hocus pocus bullshit, because I don't want to hear it. This person don't need to know what's going on in there unless they were already informed before 911. This is Queen's Playhouse. Ain't shit been covered in the fucking news. Because if it was covered, we'd already know this. We'd know who made the call. We'd know who was on the ground, wasn't on the ground. We would know all of that. I didn't know all of that. No, none of that. Just some he said, she said about somebody passing out outside and some kids coming over, and the phone was playing hot potato between different people. That's all we knew from the affidavit. These kids called other people. That's what it looks like to me. Because my understanding, other people came. How can other people come show up without you calling them? You want me to believe just random people were walking by that weren't really random, but were their friends? They were out, what, walking their dog before 12 o'clock? What are you all doing out here? Oh, we just saw somebody passed out. I think they're drunk. If you listen to the 911 call, it doesn't even sound really urgent that someone has been brutally stabbed. That's my other point. Just, oh, they were drunk last night. They won't get up. Where is the urgency about the state of the body, the bodies? You had to have seen them passed out in order to tell these people and also the dispatch. That's where I'm going. There's something off. Somebody saw something and they didn't tell it all. And what will be baffling, and I doubt that we'll ever know the truth, that nobody told the truth that they laid in a house hearing people being banged around, stabbed to death, wrestling and tussling with Brian C. Kohlberger, and you did not call 911. You're up opening and closing and slamming doors, yelling at your roommates. Don't come out the room allegedly to see what the fuck is going on, which is bizarre to me. To have two altercations, one above, one below you, calling these people after seeing a man walk by with a fucking ski mask on, and the only person you can think to call is Bethany. And you want me to, and Mr. Gonsalves wants to say, don't blame nobody, don't troll these people. No, you can't get mad because this don't make no sense. Then days later when you're interrogated, you don't remember nothing. But you mentioned somebody walking around right here on the dispatch. But yet when you're interrogated, oh, I thought it was a fireman. Are you serious? Are you serious? You thought Brian Kohlberger was a fireman? So we're going from a ski mask to a fireman. But here you sound lucid in the 911 call to say, oh, somebody was walking around and the dispatch had to cut him off to say, I ain't talking about that. I want to know what's going on right now. So I'm going to ask this question. Who the fuck are they talking about in this 911 call? Who are they talking about? Are you talking about somebody outside passed out, or are you talking about somebody inside? Because none of this makes any sense to me. This don't make no sense. How is a neighbor going to walk up and start telling the dispatch about what's going on in here if they were just walking by and saw the girls acting hysterical, screaming, or one's on the ground? This ain't adding up. So that's why I'm asking the question. Did these girls call other people and told them about what's going on, and then they were out there screaming and the neighbor walked up and she started telling the neighbor, yeah, something's going on. There was a guy walking around the house, and I think one of the girls is passed out, and then one of the girls passed out here. Because I'm trying to figure out, how is Bethany passed out and Dylan is talking to her right here on the fucking audio? So that's what I'm saying. How long was this going on outside? Thank you, Lolo. Thank you. I'm trying to make my point make some sense. Neighbor don't know nothing unless you told her something before the 911 call. 2, who was outside passed out? Or was there anybody passed out? I'm just saying, because this ain't adding up. And the neighbor's talking, or Dylan's talking, and they're talking about the person inside, but it don't sound like it's urgent. That's my point. Because you don't hear nothing about blood. Oh my God, it's a horrible scene. Hurry, send somebody. That's why we were confused 2 years ago. That even the information from the affidavit, it didn't seem urgent. That's my point. You listen to this. This ain't no damn different than the fucking affidavit. It don't sound like it's urgent. That's why the dispatcher is telling her, I don't want to hear about 4 a.m. What is going on right now? I need to hear what's going on right here. They're talking about inside the house. But yet you're not describing it like it's urgent. If I just saw my friend or somebody bloody, don't you think I'd be screaming, hurry! Oh my God, they're bleeding! They're like they're stabbed or shot, please hurry! That's my point.
I'm joined now by Steve Gonzalez. He lost his daughter, Kaylee, that tragic morning. Steve, I know that mercifully that the authorities gave you that tape before the rest of us. You've had some time. But beyond that, I don't know how, after 2.5 years of gag order, this landed with you. I don't know if this was more painful, more elucidating, a bitter pill. Tell me how you're coping with this at this point.
I'm a father, so it's not, my emotions are really my children and my wife. So I would say they feel like they're slowly drowning, and I'm the guy that's trying to help them stay from drowning. And these slow leaks, this torturous process that we're going through, they've done a better job. They've responded to our feedback. We have said, hey, the 911 call is not something that we want to turn on TV and actually see. So they have responded. They have done a better job of, this is killing me that doesn't know what murder is. They don't have any clue how to handle public relations. It just doesn't really exist. So we're getting through it together, and it's hard to say it's getting better, but they are communicating, and we're trying to protect our children, to protect all the families, and protect the survivors, to make sure that we don't have these trolls that are attacking them for no reason.
Did you get any clarity? Did you learn anything or any epiphanies when you listened to the call?
Yes. I mean, I always wanted it to make more sense. Like any murder, your brain wants to gravitate towards how make this make sense. But the truth is, murder never makes sense. This is a psychopathic person who does something that breaks the norm of all of our consciousness. All of our minds are just struggling with the fact that this has happened. So we can logically try to make it make sense, but it's not really going to make sense. It's not Hollywood, where they try to make it all fit together. In real life, you're just sitting there dumbfounded, like, why can somebody be killed in their bedroom? How does that make sense?
You mentioned in a statement today that you think Hunter Johnson protected those girls. Listen, I don't know what happened, but I'm trying to piece this together like a puzzle, and it sure feels like he knew something and he protected Bethany from knowing. Do you think that he went up to the third floor and may have seen what happened to Kaylee and Maddie and therefore said, get out, but did not tell Bethany and did not tell Dylan?
I talked to Hunter directly, and it sucks. He had a broken soul. This is a man who's seen his best friend dead, dying, gone. So, we exchanged a moment, and I talked to him, and he was trying to protect everyone in that house to not go through what was overwhelming him at the moment. So I don't know about the details of upstairs, downstairs, door open, door not, but in the bigger picture, it doesn't really matter. He was literally just responding to what he probably thought was a prank, thinking his friend, his best buddy, had these girls rolling, and he showed up there, and he seen the opposite of a prank, and I seen it in his eyes. He was broken. He was very broken from what he had seen.
Well, did Hunter tell you that he was able to open the door to Xana's room and witness Xana and Ethan in there?
He told me that he went to the door, and he was trying to go through that door, and he was trying to figure out what was going on in there. It's kind of like what you're hearing with that audio. He announced himself. He said, hey, I'm here. What's going on? But they didn't respond, and he went in there, he seen something, and I think around 2:15 you hear when somebody truly sees something.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com.
I don't really know what the hell. I don't understand anything here. So we got this other guy, Hunter, on board, okay? So what are you all trying to tell us? Because I don't know where this is going. So the girls saw something first or no? They saw something first, then called other people, and then a 911 call was made? How does Hunter fit into this? So those two were in their room. So that's why I asked the question last week. Was Xana's door closed? Help me understand. What did Dylan see when she came out of the room to go to Bethany's room? Any ideas in the chat? Because I'm confused. The fact that he's talking about pranks. He told us that his daughter liked to pull pranks. Oh, wow. I don't understand none of this. What's two different things, Brick? This is supposed to be the full 911 call made by the victim's roommates and friends, revealed the moments before and after they discovered the homicides. So, we'll see. I just don't really understand what I'm listening to. They told the neighbor that there was a strange man and also said one roommate was drunk and won't wake up. Right. So I'm assuming they're talking about Xana, whoever's in the house. But that still means somebody had to have gone in the house to see that she was passed out. Because if a person is passed out outside, you would say, oh, my friend, we were standing here and she passed out while trying to make the 911 call. That's not how it's worded. So it sounded like that's why I had to keep replaying it. They're talking about somebody on the inside. So you had to sing something to run out to call 911. That's the point I'm trying to make. Because I'm trying to go in sequence. And the only sequence is you saw something inside which led you to go outside to call 911. Where does the Hunter guy fit in? Where does the neighbor fit in? That's why I'm trying to make everybody understand. This conversation here is for somebody who had this discussion before they dialed 911. How can I tell the dispatch what was going on inside? I don't live there. There's no way I would know unless you told me beforehand. And I have a problem with that. Because we all discussed this 2 years ago. Did these girls call people on the phone and tell them stuff before they dial 911? So where is the urgency in the description of the passed out person? Because we now know they were not passed out, they are dead. There's a difference. They're also bloodied. This shit don't make no sense. This is not how you talk when people are bludgeoned. Sorry. This is what it is.
11:55 a.m. 42 seconds, November 13, 2022. 911 location of your emergency.
Something is happening. Something happened in our house. I don't know what.
What is the address of the emergency?
112.
What is the rest of the address?
Oh, James Road.
Okay. And is that a house or an apartment?
It's a house.
Can you repeat the address to make sure that I have it right?
I'll talk to you guys. We live at the White store next to them.
I need someone to repeat the address for verification.
The address? 1122 King Road.
And what's the phone number that you're calling going on? One of the roommates just passed out, and she was drunk last night, and she don't wake me up. Okay. Oh, and they saw some man in their house last night. Yeah. Sorry, just. And are you with the patient? Okay, I need someone to keep the phone.
Right there. Clarification. Roommate is passed out, drunk, won't get up. Oh yeah, and they saw some man in their house. That clears it up right there. You all discussed this with her before you dialed 911, because you do not hear anyone telling this neighbor what they heard or saw on the 911 call. You don't have dual conversations of, hey, tell the dispatch that a guy was in the house, he had a ski mask on, we were trying to dial their numbers, they wouldn't answer. You don't hear that on the 911 call. So that means this female had knowledge of what happened before they dialed at 11:55. 55, 58, it's all the same. Whatever. Why? Why does she know what happened before you called 911? So I need to know who all was standing outside when the 911 call was made. This is why we were bitching and moaning 2 years ago, because we knew then it didn't sound right. We knew then it didn't sound right. And now we're listening. It really don't sound right. So you all are talking about people in the house and you don't think to call 911 even before you fucking call. So Mr. Gonsalves, I don't care what you think, brother. I'm sorry you lost your child, your child's friends. This don't make no sense, dude. Because even now with the 911 call, people are talking about shit that they shouldn't even know about if they ain't been in the house. Stop this nonsense. We know, Sammy, we know they're dead. That's what I'm trying to say. But what I'm saying is there's no urgency in the description. How are you looking at dead people saying they're passed out and they have been stabbed? That's why I said I want to hear the whole 911 call. Because if I don't hear, I see blood, they're bloody, it smells in here, you know. Oh man, this is bullshit. I'm confused about the amount of blood that was present. Since they did not see blood everywhere, why I say they are passed out. That's what I'm saying. The woman told you that some of the victims had defensive wounds. 4 people were bludgeoned to death. How would you not see blood if you looked in a room and can say later to the dispatch, oh, somebody's passed out? So where is the urgency of, oh my God, it's a horrible scene. They're both bloody, they're both bleeding. I think they were stabbed. You know if somebody's been stabbed or not. Come on. They failed their roommate by not calling for help. Exactly, because we don't really know if somebody could have lived or not. If one of them is whimpering and Dylan says, oh, I heard somebody say, I'm going to help you. And then I see the person walk by the room and then I start calling these people and they're not answering. Common sense should tell me, okay, something is really, really not right here. Now, as I said before, I can't remember if the coroner said that nobody could have been saved, right after the stabbings. So I don't want to, quote something that's not true. But listening to this here and what I'm playing now, that still don't add up. And I am not going to make any apologies for who I am as a person. Dylan, Bethany, Ethan, Xana, Kaylee, or Maddie. I'm not Mr. or Mrs. Gonsalves. I'm not his family. I am Queen. And I came here with a discerning spirit, and I'm going to leave this earth with the same spirit God gave me. And I'm blessed to have this discerning spirit. And if I was in that house that night, I would have known something wasn't right before seeing Korberger walk by me. Because there's no way you fought 4 fucking people and there was no noise, no banging, no slamming, somebody gasping for air, somebody saying stop. Why are you doing this to me? Put it down, quit. Are you serious? Y'all ain't gonna make me sit here and believe that bullshit. Oh, their throats were cut. Their throats were cut. You don't know that because you weren't there to say all 4 throats were cut. Nobody's told us that all 4 people's throats were cut immediately. He walked in, stabbed them in their throat. You don't hear a sound. But they're fighting back. And Dylan knew something wasn't right. That's why she kept getting up, opening and closing the damn door. So you wasn't that drunk. As you told the police days later. I don't know what I saw. Oh, there was a fireman. It's bullshit. If you scared, you just tell the police, I'm scared. I don't know anything. I don't got nothing to do with this. I feel terrible. I should have called 911 when I saw that guy walk by. I feel bad. Just own it. That's all you gotta do. Just say, I fucked up. I didn't call when I should have called. That's all you have to say. But going into the police interrogation, making up shit about seeing a fireman and Donald Duck, man, fuck that bullshit. Those kids ain't coming back. They're not coming back. They're gone. For all we know, Korberger could have been caught right after. Right after. Stop this nonsense.
Stop passing it around. Should I just tell you what happened pretty much? What is going on currently? Is someone passed out right now? I don't really know, but pretty much at 4 a.m. Okay, I need to know what's going on right now if someone is passed out. Can you find them?
See, right there. I don't really know, but now she's getting ready to start talking about ski mask or the guy walking around. They're all over the place. What do you mean you don't know? Why are you calling me? See, I'm telling you, this shit is foul. There's no urgency. What did the dispatcher say? I need to know what is happening currently. You're getting ready to talk about fuck 4 a.m. 4 a.m. is over. That's why I said they're going to get their brows beaten in court because it's the first thing Annie Taylor is going to say. You're talking about 4 a.m. to the dispatcher. Well, it wasn't any importance at 4 a.m. Why didn't you call the police? Why didn't you call 911? Why didn't you walk out of the rooms? Why didn't you go upstairs to Kaylee's room? Why didn't you go around to Xana's room? You heard somebody crying. You knew where it was coming from. Why didn't you go around there? Dylan, why didn't you go around there? Because I don't care what nobody say. I'm asking. Why did you not go out of that room, girl? Why are you up opening and closing doors at 4 a.m.? Because your friends were making a lot of noise. So now we got to ask that question. Was everybody awake when Korberger entered their room? Bingo card. Korberger interrupted everybody up having a good time. Okay? Xana gets a DoorDash. So that means she was up. Were the girls up upstairs or were they asleep? Or one was up and one wasn't asleep? Because you have to deal with what has been said. And some of you just don't want to accept this shit don't sound right. And I get it. When you're not somewhere, it ain't supposed to make no sense because you don't have all the details. But you can explain what you have explained to the people in the affidavit. I'm up opening and closing doors because they're making a lot of noise. But yet I do not leave my room to see what all the noise is about. I don't go upstairs and I don't go around the corner to Xana's room. I don't even call their phones to say, hey, can y'all keep it down? I'm trying to sleep. A white man walks by me with bushy eyebrows and a ski mask, and I don't even ask him, hey, who the fuck are you? Come on with it, Queen. Somebody need to hear it. Oh my God, slam the door. Lock my door, put a chair up to the door. Go hide, don't say nothing. What? Help me understand. Dylan, after you saw the bushy eyebrow guy, how long was it before you called Bethany? I'm curious. Hello, Perspective. How long was it before you called Bethany after seeing the masked guy walk by you? What did you do after seeing allegedly Mr. Korberger walk by? I need to hear it verbatim. You shut the door, you locked the door, you put a chair up to the door, you went under the bed, in the closet, what? Try to open a window, what? Did you try to look out of a window, what? Help me understand. Because all of this is off to me. And as I said, I'm not here to say that these kids have knowledge or have any involvement of the deaths of their friends. What I'm saying is the behavior during and afterwards is suspect. And I'm to the point where I feel like I don't have to have been there to say this don't add up, because it don't add up to me until somebody can bring me something else to help make this make sense to me. At this very moment, March 2025, this just don't make no sense. Because even during this 911 call, you're now trying to what you saw at 4 a.m. And you're talking about 8 hours done pass or less than 8 hours. How does that make sense to talk about a fucking man you saw walk by, but you didn't even call 911 to say, yeah, I seen this crazy looking motherfucker walk by with a ski mask. I'm trying to figure out who the hell he is. My friends won't answer the phone. I'm calling them, they don't answer. So don't you think the cops said, well, why you didn't call the police? I don't know. So what was their response? When the cops asked you, God, I hope they asked, well, why didn't you call 911? I don't know. I didn't think it was a big deal then. I was drunk. I don't remember anything. My memory's bad. But yet, you talking fine through the cries and shit right here. Make it make sense.
Y'all, come on, let's you gotta go check. What we what's wrong? She's not waking up. Yeah. Okay, one moment. I'm gonna help her that way. Okay, thank you.
Oh my God, I'm so glad I'm not a young person. Thank you, Jesus. Oh my God. Bethany, Dylan, whoever's speaking here on this audio, did you run in the house? I know you don't, Lolo. And see, this is my first time listening to the whole call. Dylan, Bethany, because I'm trying to figure out how are you in the house that fast saying she ain't waking up. Oh my goodness. Oh. Hold on, you all. Somebody's trying to call Queen. I don't know. She's not waking up. She's not waking up. Well, did you run in with the phone? Because I'm trying to understand, you got to go up the stairs to get up to the second. Ethan, and allegedly this Hunter guy had to look in the room to see him. So how are you in there already in the house saying she ain't waking up? I'm confused. Oh, Lordy. And it's obvious they did not want to go in. D says, how did she see Brian go out, slide her back door at 4 a.m.? He didn't leave till 4:26, according to the law. They're probably talking about his car didn't leave until 4:26, hon. Not him walking out the door, but his car leaving 4:26. But then they say 4:22. I don't really know what the difference. 4:22, 4:26. Gonna have to get it right. Something's not right. Let's go back. How are you seeing your friend not woke that fast? I hear you moving around. So are you running up the stairs? But you wouldn't have been in that room that quick. Because first I don't even know how far in the driveway you are. Are you at the edge of the driveway? The middle of the driveway? You're at the front door? Make it make sense. See, I pay attention to the details. A lot of people don't like paying attention. I pay attention. Where are you exactly while talking to her? You pushed the door open. Where are you? You running up the stairs? What? I don't hear nobody running up no stairs. Because the stairs are wooden. Or does it have carpet on the stairs? Oh yeah, Queen gonna go in the belly of the beast. Yeah. I ask all the questions because I'm gonna make it make sense. Carpet on the stairs, no carpet. If it's wooden, you're gonna make noise running up the stairs, especially if you ran out with your shoes on. So I don't hear nobody running up the stairs, I just hear people moving about. But then you say, oh yeah, she ain't moving. Are you lying to the dispatch? You never went back in, did you? You didn't go back in, did you? Because I heard you say, basically, you didn't want to go back in there, Bethany. You don't want to go back in. You don't want to go back in because you knew those kids were dead. Because let's be truthful. Would I really be crying upset over my friend passed out drunk, but she's alive? Of course not. Say it again, Queen. Would I be upset over a drunk person passed out or a drunk person asleep? Make it make sense. Because there's a difference between passed out and asleep. Now, we use passed out for being asleep. I'm woke. Are you woke? You ran up the stairs, turned around that little wall, that partition, ran over to Xana's room, looked in, touched her in this short amount of time. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. You know why I don't believe it? Because I'm 2 minutes and 18 seconds into an audio dispatch call, and we're not even at 4 minutes yet. Checkmate. You've been talking for 2 minutes. And no way I believe you talking. She's trying to get an understanding what you're saying, and you're already upstairs on the second floor looking at Xana and Ethan. Hell no. Allen's. No way they didn't see all the blood, period. Xana had her fingers nearly severed off and stabbed to death. If roommates called 911 at 4, cops could have caught the real perpetrators. Yeah, well, hold on, everybody. I gotta go back. Something ain't right. I'm gonna play it all the way through. I'm not gonna say nothing.
911 location of your emergency. Something is happening. Something's happening in our house. We don't know what. What is the address of the emergency? 1122. What is the rest of the address? Oh, James Road. Okay. And is that a house or an apartment? It's a house. Can you repeat the address to make sure that I have it right? I'll talk to you guys. We live at the white store next to them. I need someone to repeat the address for verification. The address, 1122 King Road. And what's the phone number that you're calling from? What's your phone number? And tell me exactly what's going on. One of the roommates has passed out, and she was drunk last night, and she not waking up. Okay. Oh, and they saw some man in their house last night. Yeah. And are you with the patient? Okay, I need someone to keep the phone, stop passing it around. Can I just tell you what happened pretty much? What is going on currently? Is someone passed out right now? I don't really know, but pretty much at 4 a.m. Okay, I need to know what's going on right now if someone is passed out. Can you find that out? Yeah, I'll come. Come on, you gotta go check. No. I need someone to repeat the address for verification. The address, 1122 King Road. And what's the phone number that you're calling from? What's your phone number? And tell me exactly what's going on. One of the roommates has passed out, and she was drunk last night, and she's not waking up. Okay. Oh, and they saw some man in their house last night. Yeah. And are you with the patient? Okay, I need someone to keep the phone, stop passing it around. Can I just tell you what happened pretty much? What is going on currently? Is someone passed out right now? I don't really know, but pretty much at 4 a.m. Okay, I need to know what's going on right now if someone is passed out. Can you find that out? Yeah, I'll come. Come on, you gotta go check.
141, go check.
We have to.
Okay, so I stopped it. Right now it's at 2:04. So at about 1:57, somebody's asking somebody a question about the person being passed out. So you're saying 17 seconds, you were looking at Xana. Help me understand. "17 seconds. If I got that right, you're already looking at a dead person. It's 17 seconds. Hold on. Let's go back.
You gotta go check.
141, 42. I got it from 141 to 154. Okay? 141 to 154. That's 13 seconds. I'm gonna let that sit right there. How are you in the room in 13 seconds? Somebody help the queen understand. You are outside. You are outside. So we got to ask, how far outside were you in the driveway? At the door, at the middle of the driveway, edge of the driveway? That's all I'm saying. Because to make it up to the room in 13 seconds, you'd already have to be at the door outside. I don't hear a door open. Make it make sense.
She's not waking up. Yeah. Okay, one moment. I'm getting help started that way. Okay, thank you.
Now somebody sounds scared here. Whoever's breathing hard.
Okay, and how old is she? She's 20. 20, you said? Yeah, 20 here. Okay. Hello? Hello? Okay, I need someone to stop passing the phone around because I've talked to 4 different people. Okay, sorry, they didn't give me the phone. Is she breathing? Hello? Is she breathing? No. Okay. Please talk to them, okay? I can't talk to them. I need you to talk to them. Hello. Okay. I have already sent the ambulance and law enforcement. Stay on the line. If there's a defibrillator available, send someone to get it now and tell me when you have it. Say that again? Point here right now. Okay. If there's a defibrillator available, send someone to get it now and tell me when you have it. We don't have it.
Honey, you're talking to the wrong kids.
Yes, you have one. Are you talking to the officer? Yes. Okay, I'm gonna let you go since she's there with you and can help you. Okay, thank you. Bye. Okay. 11:59 a.m. 49 seconds, November 15, 2022. Okay, and how old is she? She's 20. 20, you said? Yes, 20 here. Okay. Hello? Hello? Okay, I need someone to stop passing the phone around because I've talked to 4 different people. Okay, sorry, they didn't give me the phone. Is she breathing? Hello? Is she breathing? No. Okay. Please talk to them, okay? I can't talk to them. I need you to talk to them. Hello. Okay. I have already sent the ambulance and law enforcement. Stay on the line. If there's a defibrillator available, send someone to get it now and tell me when you have it. Say that again? There's a police here right now. Okay. If there's a defibrillator available, send someone to get it now and tell me when you have it. We don't have it. Do you have a defibrillator? Yes, you have one. Are you talking to the officer? Yes. Okay, I'm going to let you go since she's there with you and can help you. Okay, thank you. Bye. Okay. 11:59 a.m. 42nd, November 13, 2022.
Welcome to the Vault Excel. Thank you for your time. Make it make sense. 4 minutes, 26 seconds. 911 call. Moscow, Idaho, dispatch. The lady lets it be known she's talked to trying to make during this commentary. You all notified other people, once again, no regard for 911 or the people in the rooms dead. And I stand on that. I don't give a damn who likes my opinion. There's no mentioning of severe wounds to the victims. And what I find even more baffling, that no one is describing Xana as being butchered. I don't hear anything about Ethan. Bingo card. Come on with it, Queen. Her, she. You mean they. Is there something that we're missing here? I'm looking forward to trial because I'm sick. This shit right here is pissing me off. Okay? This is pissing me the fuck off. Where is the urgency? Damn. For your friends. There's no urgency. There's no description. There's no they. They are in there passed out. How you gonna see one without seeing the other if they're in the same room? Help Queen understand that, okay? Now we on some other bullshit now. Because now we're talking about two people dead, allegedly in the same room or same vicinity. So was Ethan not near Xana? I'm trying to tell y'all, there's about to be some smoke in the city. You can put I bet everything I own come trial time. It's going to be some smoke in the city because this ain't making no sense. This 911 call. Where is they? They are passed out. That's what you should have been saying when you first called. They are passed out. They are passed out because you had to have seen something to be outside in the first place. Make this make sense to me. Mr. Gonzalez is talking about all this. This is real time and they're scared and I can't tell what's going on. I'm keeping it real. There is no mentioning of smell, iron, blood, seeing blood, and two people. Somebody died on the wall in there, unless they got up and moved after being stabbed, trying to get to safety. And I don't believe the bedrooms were very big. So help Queen understand. How are you all talking about she, and no they? There's two dead people in that vicinity, allegedly. So where is Ethan? Her, but not him. You're supposed to be talking about two people if they're in the same room. So whether one's in the room, one's out of the room, two in the room, where is the description of they? They are passed out. They are dead. They are bleeding. Both are bludgeoned. I ain't heard nothing in a 4-minute ass 911 call. This is exactly what I said earlier. I said, please don't let me hear a 911 call with no mention of blood, bloody scene, 2 people, 4 people, something. Well, you heard it here live. Nothing. Well, if they didn't go upstairs, they wouldn't know they're dead. But all I'm saying is, this phone call starts off with a she won't wake up, not they won't wake up. So you can't have seen one without the other if they're both in the room or close proximity, Xana and Ethan. So this is where I am confused. She, her. No they. No mentioning of this guy who is at least 6'4", 6'3", somewhere in there, 6'5". Just as big as Korberger. It's all about her, which don't make no sense. They were sleeping together. They were dating. So where is he at? Where is Ethan? And even on the call, they're steady talking about her. Is she awake? Is she awake? You know fucking well she ain't awake. Oh my God. Lord have mercy, Jesus. Whew. All I'm going to say, I'm going to pray for our youth. And if I had a young child, oh my goodness gracious, would I give my child a talking to? Honey, you better know your friends. You smell something wrong, something don't look right, sound right, don't get in a car, jump out the car, jump out a window, run like hell till your feet burn. Don't get talked into something you don't want to do. Go anywhere. Use your better senses. Because you see, everything is a ripple effect in life. Everything you do. The start of these children's problem is that they entertain people. They posted their life to social media. They had a door that didn't lock. And that's the most important issue. Why was that door not locked? Because you got to use deduction in talking about this type of situation. We have a psychopath stalking people, and he has made his way to this house at least 14 times. And obviously undetected by these people that lived there. Then you got to ask if the man ever made it inside of the house, unbeknownst to the participants of the house, or even while they were there. So did Korberger ever make it in the house with the girls there? He did a dry run. Because in order for him to know about that side door, he has been scoping out the house, probably by foot, not just by riding by car. I have to know how to get in. I got to know an easy access point. There are too many cars in the driveway, which is very scary to me. So that means Korberger was confident in his game. We're going to go in the belly of the beast tonight, okay? Because somebody needs to hear this. He was adamant that he was taking all prisoners. But where there's a problem, come on with it, Queen, he left 2. So if I'm going to walk up to a house that I've been stalking 12 times, why am I risking my own livelihood to go into a house with at least 5 cars parked in the driveway? Because I'm assuming what? There are only 5 girls, this and that, ain't no guys. That means I knew I'm going to kill all of them. Come on with it, Queen, because somebody need to hear it tonight. Okay? Thank you, Sammy. That means I knew I was going to kill everybody in the house. So whether I even believe that there was going to be a guy there or not, I'm expecting to murder all participants in the house. And that's very, very scary thought, that this man knew he's going to murder all these people here, whether it was a guys there or not. Pay attention now. I'm going to kill everybody on sight. So you get in my way, you're a goner. That's what he did. But where there's still the problem, two are living to tell the story, allegedly. Why is that? I've been watching this house. I know who's coming and going. I see their social media pages. I see all of them in the picture, which was taken by Kaylee, same day, the 12th rather. Okay? So he's watched the posts. He sees the friends. He has seen the friends how many times in pictures. He knows who's in this house. Make it make sense. He knows it's a 3-level house. He's seen them walking by the windows, flipping on lights. Why do we have 2 people alive? Help me understand. Why is there no urgency in this phone call? In the description, they're dead. They've been dead for some time while you 2 have been downstairs goofing off and doing some bullshit in your bedroom. I don't know what the fuck you all were doing. Oh, I went to sleep for 8 hours. Nah, you didn't go to bed for 8 hours. Because this bullshit was going on after 4. You didn't call until 11:55. If we want to be technical about it. Is there something you girls want to tell us? Because something's missing here. You can call it fear. Don't want to get the police involved. We've had enough trouble with the police, noise complaints. Don't want them coming out here looking at us crazy. Is that what this is about? You're worried about how the police were going to look at you? You've had complaints before. We ain't going to get the police involved. I can see that. I can see that. You've had the police called on you a few times because you're rowdy. Don't want to stir up no police drama at this address anymore. We'll let it slide. But see, where this is fucked up, and some of you have not focused on this, and I don't know if these girls ever think about this. They should. Kohlberger came back. Kohlberger came back at 9 a.m., 9:10. And why would Mr. Kohlberger return at 9:10 a.m.? Bethany, Dylan, because he forgot something. In all the hysteria of murdering 4 people and running around, flipping on phones, discarding clothes, shoes, tarps, different things, trash bags, a knife, he forgot something at 1122 King Road. He left the sheath behind. And at this point, he probably also realized, oh my, I've left 2 little itty bitty spiders behind as well. Checkmate. And he sat there in his car contemplating, do I want to go in and get that sheath off that bed upstairs and possibly tap on 2 more doors? Or just push both of the doors open and finish what I started? You 2 are very lucky. Because 4 of your friends were not lucky. And I'm sure you think about that all the time. Why not us? He's seen our pictures, our photographs. He knew we lived here, but he spared us. Why? You all are very lucky. Lucky indeed. Because that thing came back. And he sat outside your house while you all were slumbering or doing God knows what down in Bethany's room. and your other 4 friends were already dead, assumedly. He was a rock's throw from Bethany's room. But I want you all to think about that. Mr. Korberger was a rock's throw from Bethany's room. And he came back for a reason. You two are very lucky to be alive. And frankly, Dylan, you know that better than anybody, due to the fact that you were up opening and closing doors 3 times. The 3rd time Mr. Korberger walked by you, you were in a frozen state shock, and he didn't notice you, or did he? He was so tired and exhausted, he said, "The hell with it. I don't have any more energy to stab anybody else." See, what I have to ask myself is the after effect of this nonsense. How did he open the door to get out without leaving a bloody print, even with gloves? How did he open his car door? Did he already have a plastic bag in his pocket to put the knife in, pull the gloves off? Stay woke, everybody. No DNA blood in his car. That means he had to have a tarp already on the seats inside of the car. Already on hand, on his person, to put everything in order to open his own car door. Stay woke now. But what about shoes, pants, all of that? Still can touch the fabric inside of your car. And he was driving a sedan. So that means he's got long legs. Legs can bump the steering wheel. Your feet touch the grooves of the pedals. Yet nobody found anything belonging to the 4 kids in his car. He must have cleaned that car, gave it a hell of a clean job. Oh, was it Pale? Okay, Pale says the shower curtain was missing. He put tarp in that car, but you still leave behind residue from your shoes because he left a latent shoe print. And you're stabbing 4 people, something's getting on a shoe, a pants leg, a jacket, a shirt. Definitely the wrist of your shirts, sweatshirt. They had to be bloody. You're using a knife that's very long. You're going in and out. More than likely, he cut himself. Most people who stab people many times, they end up stabbing themselves because the knife becomes slippery. This is a very interesting story. And this 911 call is even more interesting and baffling all at the same damn time. And as I said before, I'm not here to implicate Bethany or Dylan in the murders of their 4 friends. What I'm saying is that their behavior is asinine to me, and that's my opinion. And I get it. There are times when you think you might do something, but you don't do it in a very dire situation. Well, I just can't see myself living in a house full of women or alone, and a Joe Blow walks by with a ski mask on, and I know I don't know him, and I'm going to shut my door and say nothing for less than 8 hours. Make that make sense. Make it make sense. Well, and naturally they didn't find those dickies because you know they had blood on them. I don't care if they were blue, black, gray, white. They would still have blood on them. And I haven't heard nothing about the shoes. I can't remember if they said they found the shoes or not, the Vans. The point is, he covered his tracks, but not all the way. And as I've always said with true crime, there's going to always be things you don't know about the people, the events, because it's wrongdoing, for one. And some things you just ain't meant to know. But with this 911 call, it's just off. To me, maybe to some other people, it's not. But to me, it's off. The behavior is off of these two females. Because as I just said, I can see right now, waking up out of a fog, whether I'd been drinking or not, and I come up out this bedroom and I see somebody walking from this small living area or walking out of the door, and I don't say to myself, who the fuck is that? I don't know him. I didn't give him a key. I'm just saying, make it make sense. I'm not that drunk. Not to want to call 911 and a big ass man just walked by me. And another thing that ain't nobody ever discussed that I can recollect. You just walked by me. Where's the knife at? In your pocket? Kohlberger stuck that big ass knife in his pocket without the sheath. Y'all better wake up. He walked by a whole human with a bloody knife where? So I gotta ask Dylan, was there a hallway light on? Was the kitchen light on? See, these are the questions don't nobody ask. Queen gonna ask them. Was the living room light on? Do they normally sleep with the living room light on? Make it make sense. When she ran out of her room, was the living room light on? Where was Ethan and Xana? Because this 911 call is bullshit. This is bullshit. Because nobody is talking about Ethan. Y'all don't find that strange? You don't hear nobody saying that nobody's bloody, and all you hear is she. Is she woke? She passed out. She passed out. You don't hear nothing about Ethan like he didn't even fucking exist. Oh, fuck him. Is she passed out? Is she passed out? You mean, are they passed out? Clarify. Are they passed out? Hey, why are they bleeding like that? There's something off here. I don't care what nobody says. And I'm telling you now, I don't think it's going to make any more sense to me come trial. Even with them testifying on the witness stand, I don't think it's going to make me feel any better about the story. I'm just going to be truthful. I got a funky feeling I'm going to probably be more pissed off when they testify. Because if this is all you got to give me pertaining to a 911 call, those girls are in trouble when it's time to testify. And I'm just going to keep it real. Somebody said it was high noon when they called 911. Where did they use the restroom? No dog barking for 8 hours. They saw that everyone's car was there. Why didn't they look the other roommates? Yeah. Why is it silent and smelling of death? Where's Murphy or Kaylee or Maddie? Well, as I told you all, you can smell iron and blood. And there's no way when they woke up, they could not have smelled blood. There ain't no way. The detective said it rose in his nose when he walked in. He walked in from the bottom or the glass door, he smelled blood. So Bethany, Dylan, you ain't smelled no blood when you got up that morning from Bethany's room? You didn't smell death? It's winter time. Come on with it, Queen. Hot damn. Y'all forgot about that. He in a house would be cooking these dead people. Shut your mouth. The heat would make the smell of the blood and the death rise even more. Because it's not summertime with air conditioning on. Ding, ding, ding. I'm woke. Are you woke? Exactly. It is November. You know damn well there's heat on in that house. I'd like to know how long was the glass door not working properly? Why did you girls not get the door fixed? Please explain to the queen. We learned that Maddie had a problem with a lock. The father went and fixed it. What was wrong with the lock on her door? Slamming it, closing it? Somebody tried to pry it open? What was the real issue with Maddie's room? Because it is believed that Maddie was the initial target. And then we hear this information about her lock being a problem. I believe it was Maddie's door. If not, I stand corrected. So let's say it's Maddie's door that was messed up. Maddie was the target. Will we find out that somebody had been jimmying her door, trying to open her door? And then that means, ding, 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 somebody was in the house with the girls on another time. What do you mean why the front door was open? Well, my understanding, he left out the glass door, the side door, the kitchen. I'm assuming that's the door that wasn't locked, the glass door. Then you got to ask, if that's the truth, how many people knew that that door could be accessible without a lock, not being locked? See, the girls were taking a chance anyway. Just keeping it real. Because when you have people coming and going out of your house, they watch you, they learn your habits, they listen to your conversations. And I won't doubt there are quite a few people who fraternized with these kids knew that they could come and go out of that glass door, and that was dangerous. Okay, front door is open in the morning. Okay. Yeah, okay, I remember that. Thank you. I don't know. See, that's a whole nother issue as well. Well, if the door is open, then that means somebody went out of the door. So that means Korberger would have had to gone down the front stairs, past Bethany's room. But yet Dylan said he passed her. So it can't be both. Unless Korberger went to the front door and opened it and it wasn't locked. Very interesting. So that adds a new detail to this nonsense as well. Front door unlocked, open. Glass door not locked. So we're in a house just full of doors open. There was no break-in, no windows jimmied. As I just said, this was a recipe for disaster with these kids, and they had no idea, because a lot of people are not aware of their faculties. And you see this a lot with women. Women are very careless. You're always losing your keys. You're always losing your fucking ID. You go out to the bar without a purse, a crossover bag. You're putting your ID and keys in your bra. You're asking for trouble. You have got to be aware of your faculties, ladies. Stop talking so much. Stop telling stuff. I tell people this all the time on social media. Y'all talk too much. You can best believe more people knew about the glass door. Okay? Not just Korberger. More people knew about the door. No one was scared that someone would see or hear a quadruple, unaliving, weird risk to take for a stranger, crime of passion, likely not a stranger. Well, see, that's the whole point, is that, as I've said to everybody before, I don't assume anything when it comes to true crime. People are murdered and hurt by strangers every day. So I don't know why everybody is so hung up, gung-ho, that these people had to have known each other. People are carjacked every day, robbed every day. People breaking people's houses every day. They do not know them. They watch. That's what he did. And you gave him that opportunity by not having locked doors. This is why I said Kohlberger is not the only person that knew that they could enter this house. Because what did I tell you? You're entertaining all the fucking time. You're talking, and when you're drunk, you tell on yourself, oh, you know you could come in, the door ain't locked, the lock's broke. You don't know who's hearing that information. You don't know who's hearing that information. Probably said it during a live stream. Oh, come on over. The door's unlocked. We'll leave it open. It's already unlocked. You ain't got to worry about it. Can't talk like that. Well, 6 people don't know that they're about to get murdered. Yeah, you can have control over 6 people. Ted Bundy did it. BTK did it. Kohlberger's not the first person to kill multiple people in a room, in a setting, at one time. Yeah, but that's what's dangerous, pal. You cannot leave your doors unlocked. I tell people this all the time. Stop assuming everything's going to work in your favor. You can't think like that. Don't you hear this every time somebody gets hurt? Oh, he was comfortable. She was comfortable. They always left the door unlocked, let the dog out. Well, that's the one day that the killer perpetrator has easy access to your house. The day you decide you leave the door unlocked, the window unlocked. Fresh air, it's spring. You want to let a little fresh air in your house. Leave the window up, forget. Well, here comes the perpetrator. Oh, she's got the window up. Thank you. Oh, they got the door cracked. Let the dog run out, run in. That's what people are looking for, a window of opportunity. You have got to get out of this feeling comfortable. Oh, I live in a great neighborhood. I live in a great cul-de-sac, condo. We don't have crime. Says who? And if you trust your neighbors, you really are crazy. I trust no one. Let me make that clear. I don't trust nothing with 2 feet. Not now, not never. Because we have seen so many crimes of opportunity by neighbors, acquaintances, people who came to do work on the house. They doubled back because they knew the woman was alone. They knew how to get in. They banked on getting out undetected. This is why when people come to your house to do work, you have to make sure you keep your mouth closed. Do not, listen to me good, do not answer personal questions when you have strangers working in your house. They're coming to do the roof, the driveway, the pool, gutters, plumbing, Xfinity, whatever. Keep your mouth shut. Do you live alone? You have children? Buck up and ask them why. Why are you asking? Oh, I didn't mean no harm. Well, I just want to know why you asking. Shut it down. You cannot give a perpetrator the opportunity. I'm going to share something with you. Before I moved last May, I was getting rid of a lot of stuff because I didn't have any room in this little box that I'm in now. So I was giving my things away to a Hispanic neighbor. She couldn't speak no English, but I was giving her half of the shit in my house, okay? I had one of her friends, associates, help me carry some stuff out of my apartment. And I remember walking back to my apartment with the guy, and he asked me something that was very strange. He said to me, "Do you live alone? Do you live with somebody?" And I said, yes, I do. I live with my brother. I want you all to think about that question and tell me what's wrong with that question. Ha, 313, that's good. Tell me what was wrong with that guy asking me, does somebody live with me? Why would you be asking someone who's moving out of their apartment, do they live with someone? Now, one could say, well, Queen, he was flirting. He thought she was a pretty lady. Maybe he thought, let me see if she has a boyfriend. Maybe he's trying to get citizenship. Maybe he's looking for a wife. Could be anything. But see, Queen don't think like that. I thought of the worst. I thought of the worst first. I was surrounded by windows in that last apartment. I used to hate living there because it was a recipe for disaster, because it was glass all around and I was on the bottom unit. There was glass, big windows that you could literally just step in if you broke it out and just step your whole body into my apartment. I didn't like living like that because I knew that if in deep sleep, all I do was the back door, just get a drill out a piece of glass, stick your hand in and open the door, open the locks, boom, you're in. Windows on the back porch, you pop one out, you can just step right on in the apartment, you're in. I hated it, and I don't miss it at all. So that's what came to my mind while this little short, sawed-off Hispanic man is asking me, oh, does somebody live with you? And I said, yeah, I'm quick on my feet. I said, yep, my brother. Fuck you asking me that. You know what I'm saying? What the hell are you asking me that for? I'm sitting here unloading my apartment to your fucking friend, and you're worried about who's living with me? It's none of your damn business. Exactly. And that's exactly how I thought. You're over here, you can get a bullseye view of who's coming in and out of my apartment. For all we know, somebody already told him in Spanish, oh, Mamacita got nobody. Mamacita live alone. We never see her with children, men, blah, blah, blah. People talk. That's what I want you to understand about living. People talk. So you need to be aware of what you post to social media, conversations with strangers, having the same routine every day, going to work, coming back from work. You need to be aware. You need to pay attention to your house. You need to pay attention to outside of your house. You need to get a keen sense of smell. Queen has a nose like a dog. I know if you've been in my apartment because my sense of smell is on the money. I can walk in here and have been gone 20 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, does not matter. I will know that somebody else has been in this apartment. You know why? Because I have my own unique smell in this apartment. And the one thing humans carry, that's body odor. You need to be aware of where you sit stuff in your house. You need to be aware of your windows, your doors. When you come in and out, you need to check to make sure nobody's ever put tape over the lock. I bet a lot of you are saying, damn, Queen, what the hell? I'm trying to make you understand that people can come to your house and mess with your locks without your knowledge. They can put tape over that hole where the lock is supposed to go. And then when they come back, they have an easy way to slide an instrument in there and pop the lock open. Now, I believe in trusting a friend. You know, you travel, you go out of town. You definitely want somebody to know you're going out of town to watch your house. If you think you can trust a neighbor to say, hey, keep an eye out on my door, woo, woo, woo. But the one thing you always have to understand too about trusting neighbors, you don't know all of their friends and relatives. And that can be also to your detriment. Because people entertain and people have company. So even if I trust my neighbor, can I trust her brother? Can I trust her boyfriend? Can I trust her husband? Can I trust her children? Probably not. And people talk, as I just said. So I'm going over here telling this nice lady, I'm going to be out of town for a week. Can you keep an eye out on my house, my apartment? She says, sure. But then she goes and runs her mouth to Petey Pablo, and now we have a problem. So now Petey Pablo knows Queen ain't home. I can trust her, but I can't trust him. So now somebody knows I'm gone that I don't know and I can't trust. So you see, even in trying to trust someone, you could tell it to the wrong trusting person and they run their mouth and tell the wrong person, oh yeah, Queen's gone. She told me to watch her house. But the person she's telling, they're not a good person. This is why a lot of crimes go unsolved, because it be close people of other people that exact crimes and nobody's looking at them. They're only looking at the people in the neighborhood or whoever I've dealt with. They ain't looking at Susie's cousin, brother. See what I'm saying? They don't live there. They might be just passing through. But they got wind, I ain't home. So you have to be very careful what you tell people. And that's my message today to all of you in the viewing audience and to anybody young watching this live stream. You need to be aware of everybody you fool with. You need to be careful of people who follow you on Instagram, TikTok. Any stranger liking every fucking picture. Be very leery. Be leery of people getting in your DMs and they don't want anything. Talking sex talk, ain't making no sense. Block them. Neighbors, too friendly. Asking too many questions. Cut the conversation short. Remove yourself. Co-workers, bosses, associates, same thing. Anybody coming to the house doing work, same thing. Don't leave out valuables. Don't leave out iPads. Don't leave out shit. Don't tell nobody you're going out of town. Don't talk nothing personal in front of strangers. Because we've seen a lot of stories of people who do work for people and they double back because you've been running your mouth while they were in your house. Oh yeah, we're going to Bermuda. We're going to be over there for 5 days, blah, blah, blah. Now a total stranger knows you're going to be gone. Peel head, pop heads coming in your house to do work. You don't know them. You might know the guy, but then he's got a helper, but the helper ain't no good. See, you don't know people. It's just like when I've gotten work done in this apartment. I had work done 2 or 3 months ago. I made sure to be here. They coming in here, they looking around, and they looking not too savory. Yeah, I'm looking at them like, I ain't left nothing out for you to pick up and take, because you can't walk out of here with that big old flat screen. That'd be too obvious during daytime hours. But there's no way I could have been gone and said, oh yeah, let them come in my apartment while I'm not here. And then there was a time when they walked out the door and didn't even lock the door, and I was in here. And was gone at least 20, 30 minutes for lunch. Now imagine had I not been here. They would have been rambling in here looking for shit. And somebody else could have came and just knocked on the door, pushed their way in and took anything they want. That's why I don't let nobody come in here and do no extensive work and I'm gone. Hell no. Hell no. I'm not trying to scare you. But this story, and I always said this when I first started talking about the Idaho 4, that you have to be aware of your faculties. And once I learned that the home had not been broken into, that made the story more scary. Made it way more scary. And then the fact that the person they arrested did not know the kids, didn't hang with friends of the kids, the story became even more macabre. And this is why I say these things to you, not to put fear in you, but it's to rattle your cage, to be aware of your faculties and not be so free-spirited with strangers. And at some point, we are all strangers because we don't know the mindset of people. Because really, there's no such thing as I know him, I know her. No, you don't. Nobody tells you their real feelings and dark feelings about stuff because they don't want to be judged. And I think, as I have said this so many times, if you really knew what people thought about you, you probably wouldn't talk and deal with anybody. Because nobody's going to actually tell you they hate your fucking guts. They're thinking about doing some not so nice things to you. Who would tell you that? Only a sadist would tell you. You can't trust people. And sadly, these kids, two-legged creature that they did not know. And he had been for some time, at least several months. And that's the scary part of the story. They didn't know him. Never hung out with him, never had dinner. Never went to the movies, picture show, bowling, nothing. Just some sicko watching social media or passed one of them out in the street somewhere and became fixated. Because even on IG, they give you suggestions. Facebook give you suggestions. And you know, you might look at the picture and say, well, okay, he's a friend of my friend. She's a friend of my friend. You know, it's up to you if you want to befriend that person or not. But it's just dangerous out here. Even this befriending people on Facebook and stuff, friends of a friend, you might like some post they made or you seen them out, so you go ahead and send them a request. I say this all the time. I said this to this girl the other day. I said, you have to be careful even with that friend and Facebook friends, because if you really don't know them, you're going to get a shock of your life when you start seeing their timeline. All the crazy stuff they're saying, their thoughts on stuff, cussing, fussing, raising hell. Then you realize, I don't think I really want to be his or her friend. And then you feel bad about blocking and deleting them. This is why you need to be careful about accepting friendships from people you really don't know. Go down their timeline and read their timeline. See what they're talking about. See how they act. See how they talk. Because if you really search people's timelines, you'll probably realize they're not somebody you want to be friends with. So I usually check their timeline if their page is open. And I watch to see what they're talking about before I accept them as a friend. If I see a lot of nasty memes, sexual memes, I'm not accepting you as no friend because I'm not into that. I'm not into that at all. And that'll lead me to believe you want to be friends with me for what reason? Because I know what's coming next. You're going to get in that DM. Hi, how are you? Hi, new friend. And then that leads to something else. If I respond, hey, how you doing? The next thing you know, oh, I've been looking at you. Oh, you're so pretty. You're this. Bye, Roscoe. I'm 2 hours and 39 minutes into this live stream. I'm going to share this audio to my community page. You feel free to go back and listen to it in its entirety at your convenience. And you comment on my post what you think of this audio. And I'm going to share it right now. And then I also commented, oh, that ain't what I wanted. That's not the one I want. Hold on. I already shared that. Hold on. Let me see if it's going to show what I watched. Hold on, everybody. Bishop, check out Chris Thorne's earlier live. The Queen was on it briefly at the end. I gave my opinion on the case of the kids that died in the van in Detroit. Let's see. I don't know if this is the whole video or not. Well, I'll go ahead and share this one here. I can't find the one where I was watching. Hold on. This is not nothing I've watched. I don't know. This thing don't look right. This don't look like what I watched. That's not the same video, I'll tell you what it's. Yes, evil lives amongst us. I want y'all to weigh in on this. Tell me what you think of the audio, the whole audio. Let's see what these news people are talking about. Then we'll go to my community page and see if anybody commented on the whole audio.
Students murdered in their home. Today, more than 2 years after we filed a public records request for the 911 call, we now have that recording and the context of what it means to this case. Thanks for being with us tonight. I'm Derek Dice.
And I'm Kirsten O'Connor. We fought for this call to be released, but a judge initially kept it sealed as part of the gag order in the case. When portions of the transcript were released by the court last week, it no longer made sense for attorneys to hold it back. It gives context to the confusion that was happening when two young women realized their roommates weren't responding to calls and texts. They didn't know at the time that their roommates, Xana Kernodle, Kaylee Gonsalves, Ethan Chapin, and Madison Mogan, had been murdered 8 hours earlier. We do want to warn you, it is difficult to hear this.
It's not graphic, but it might be upsetting to hear the emotion in these voices, even before.
Okay, so basically they're just going to rehash the audio. Okay, let me ask y'all something here before I check out of here. Have you all noticed lately, with all this Kohlberger talk, you don't hear anything from the Chapins? I realized, 2 years ago, Ethan's mother basically said they were only going to focus on their son, the life that he led, while he was alive, not anything pertaining to Kohlberger or I guess the case itself. But I still just find it a bit weird that a person doesn't want to just ever give their opinion about the case itself. I mean, you don't have to talk about, the graphics, or what was done to your child, but just talk about, the findings and the proceedings itself, how you feel the case is coming along. I just find that so weird. I just find that strange. Oh, Pen 1010. You are so welcome, sweetheart. I just find that so weird that Maddie's dad, he speaks highly of Maddie. He seems like a very mild-mannered guy. Seems like a nice guy, Mr. Mogan. He's always smiling when he talks about Maddie. Mr. Gonsalves, his wife and daughter, they speak about Kaylee. And then Xana, her dad and sister, they have spoken out about her. So that's 1, 2, 3. So the only person left is Ethan's family. You don't ever hear them talking about the case, where it's going, the evidentiary material, how they feel about just anything pertaining to the case, how it's moving along. Naturally, they're not going to talk about Kohlberger because they don't want to, and that is their choice. But I just think it's strange. I get it. Nobody is, that they don't want to be as vocal as Mr. Gonsalves was in the beginning. And even this content I played you earlier, he basically felt like they don't have a good PR person or they don't know how to do the PR. So, he's still giving them the business, his opinions about how they're doing things, But the Ethan's family, I don't know. It's just something about them that's just strange to me. That they don't even say, you know, hey, we're looking forward to trial. We're glad that it's coming up. We want to put an end to this. You know, we want to move on from this. So yes, we're looking forward to trial. We don't have anything to say about Kohlberger, but we are glad that things are moving along. They don't say nothing. It's just strange to me. Angela says, they've always appeared stuck up to me. I think they didn't approve of Xana and blame her for him being there, in my opinion. Wow, you think that? Damn. ESP, since Xana's mom has a history. Oh, okay. Yeah, the drugs. Well, that's why I said before, when I first started talking about the Idaho 4, I never pointed the finger at anyone because there were too many people dead. And when you have too many people dead, you can't point the fingers at anybody. You know, it's not like one kid got killed. 4 separate people got killed. So I wasn't about to point the finger at anybody because we've seen people do that and it has turned out, it gets real ugly, nasty, and boom, you ain't got the right damn person. And you saw how nasty everybody was with the grub truck guy, then Kaylee's ex, and this and that. And ain't none of them folks been arrested, and ain't none of them been involved, to our knowledge. So I didn't do it. I made a vow and I kept my vow. I said, I'm going to wait on the evidence. I'm going to wait to see what they have. And I think law officials got it right. I do believe Kohlberger is the right guy because there are just too many things that link him to this case that they ain't said nobody else following and liking and, you know what I'm saying, sitting outside the house and riding by and all of that. Come on now. You're a complete stranger. And that's another thing a lot of you don't focus on. I think I might do another live later where I'll drop the link, which none of you ever hit the link. But anyway, you all don't find it strange this man chasing him behind one of these girls, and he just got to Washington State that summer, that spring or summer? You don't find that baffling? He'd only been in Washington a few months. Docking one of the girls instead of focusing on his fucking schoolwork. I mean, it's something to think about. We're not talking about some nerd just sitting in the house, scrolling IG, playing video games, obsessed with some blonde-haired chick. Or whichever one he liked. We're talking about a grown years of age, trying to get a PhD in criminology. And this is what he would do in his spare time, running over to Idaho, 15 minutes away, stalking a house. So really his focus was these girls versus his damn schoolwork. And you remember what the one guy said after the murders? He all of a sudden started being talkative, grading everybody's papers at 100. Because he had let off what he had been meaning to let off, which was murder sting. Oh, I can breathe now. I've got that off my chest. I've been holding back my anger, aggression towards women, the world. So after he killed those kids, he felt better. But that's a scary ass thought. That he was acting one way, and then after he kills these kids, he's just carefree, la-di-da, no care in the world. And you can best believe he would have done it again. And even if he had only killed one and gotten away, he would have done it again. And even if it wasn't the Idaho 4, it was going to be somebody. And that's what a lot of people need to understand about Kohlberger. Whether it was Pennsylvania, Idaho, Washington State, Oregon, wherever he planted his feet, he was going to kill somebody. And I think people don't really understand that. He is sadistic. He's been waiting a long time to do what he did in Idaho. That's why he was happy-go-lucky after he killed those kids. He'd been dreaming of that moment for God knows how long. and he would not have stopped. Might have been a little scared, might have been a little leery, but Kohlberger would have went right back out here and done that shit again. So while everybody was trying to put together who killed these kids, it's not to take away from the 4 victims, but it was going to be a victim or more anyway. That's why he did it. It was a build-up. He was going to kill somebody. And that's what everybody needs to understand about Kohlberger. If not the Idaho 4, it would have been somebody at Washington State. And I think it's so bizarre that Xana's sister was at Washington State same time Kohlberger was there. That is creepy as fuck. When I heard that, I was like, what? Her sister? So can you imagine that girl walking around and they look alike, they favor? And she's walking around this mad fucker while he's running over to Idaho stalking her sister and friends. Ooh, man, that's creepy. Yes, and I've talked about that. Why he spared the 2, because he's watched his house too many times to not know they lived there. And the fact that there were cars in the driveway is even more baffling, that he was that adamant. I'm going in this house. I'm getting who I'm getting. I'm coming out. They're not going to catch me. So for 1 month or so, he was, walking free. Even when he got on the radar, he still was walking free. He could have killed somebody else. But just the brazenness of running over to that house 14 times or more, then you're, making way into this house, didn't break in. How would he know that he could just get in this house? How did he know he couldn't break in without there being an alarm system? The girls could have had something on the sensors on the, on the windows. See, this is what makes me think this fucker has possibly been in that house. He has done a dry run, and that is just as creepy as the crime itself, the dry run. Because you got to know that you can get in and get out. How do you know somebody ain't went and bought a Rottweiler or a Pit Bull? I'm just saying. We know that Ethan was there. He was a big guy. Obviously, he couldn't fight off Kohlberger. Kohlberger was strong, obviously stronger than Ethan, because he killed the boy. So you got to think about all of that. He saw them in the pictures. The picture Kaylee took, he saw that picture. He didn't care. And when a person has that type of fearlessness, they are dangerous. Why did his dad fly out there? Oh, because he didn't want to drive back alone, allegedly. Did his dad have some kind of intuition that Brian was involved? Probably. Probably did. Once they broke the news, they probably talked about it. He probably heard the description of the car and thought, you got a white Elantra. You're close to the campus. You're only 15 minutes away. Bushy eyebrows. He probably thought about all of that stuff. That's the thing about crime. I don't have to tell you I'm curious that you're possibly involved. You understand what I'm saying? Because I'm sure many people have been in this predicament of being close to somebody who was a suspect, and you started wondering to yourself, I wonder if this person did this. I wonder if my brother did this. I wonder if my dad, my boyfriend, husband did this. But you don't ever tell that person, hey, you know something about that crime? Because that's a scary thing to have to ask another human being. Are you involved? What do you know about that crime? Can you imagine the father asking him? Now, you didn't go over there to that house, did you? You don't know those girls, do you? I don't know if I want to ask my child that question. I mean, I'm not the father. I'm queen, but I think if it crossed my mind, I'm sitting here trying to figure out what I ask my child. Because I know it would be on my mind to ask. It would cross my mind. This is scary to me. And then you think back to the one young lady who spoke about that day she was at that bar in Pennsylvania, and Kohlberger was in there, and he asked her where she lived. So this goes back to what I've talked about, personal questions. You don't even know her. Why are you asking a stranger where they live? For what reason? Why do you need to know? Well, of course, anybody would be scared of the answer. See, I think Kohlberger was peeping in Pennsylvania. Because what you always have to remember about sadistic behavior, excuse me, there's got to be a start. There eventually is a jump off. So his start would have been in Pennsylvania, which would be peeping. Because sadism goes in stages, okay? So most rapists, murderers start off voyeurism, porn, thievery, peeping toms. They go in stages. You remember when they told you the only thing they had against Kohlberger in Pennsylvania is that he locked his car in the park? You remember? They said they had like a cutoff time for you to park your car in the park. After 6, 7 or so, they would lock the gate. Remember they said his car got locked in there one time? I want you all to think about that for just a second. If you are familiar with the park, you're familiar with the hours, why would your car get locked in a parking lot? I want you to think about that. Why would your car be the only car locked in the parking lot come dark 30? I want to see if somebody in the chat can answer it. Because I've discussed this before on this network, why that car got locked in that park. Any ideas? 44 people watching, 35 thumbs up. Come on. Why was this car locked in that park? Any ideas? Hello? Taking you all too long to answer down there. Oh my goodness. 45 people now watching and nobody wants to answer. Come on, you guys. Play along now. Why was his car locked in that parking lot? Any ideas? What? Ain't nobody want to answer? All these people in the chat, Angela, come on, you guys. Penton, Danielle, Myri, Hawkeye, come on now. 313, Brooke. Bill Wright is so funny. 45 people viewing. I want to hear from somebody in the audience why his car got locked in that parking lot of that park back in Pennsylvania many years ago. Why would your car get locked in a parking lot? Somebody tell me why. I ain't got no takers. I don't believe it. I'll go to my community page. Probably because he was out peeping beyond the park hours. Exactly. I've always thought that. You're from an area, you usually know park hours. You know if they'll tow cars, lock gates. And the one thing you do not want is your car locked in any type of facility parking lot. And so you don't have to find a way home and worry about your car. When I first heard that, that was the first thing that came to mind due to the crime that Kohlberger has been charged. He was out peeping and lost track of time and got his car locked in that parking lot. And I believe that to this day. Please check out this story here. I had been wondering about this young lady's disappearance from Georgia many years ago, and they did catch the killers. It was 2 friends from high school that confessed to her murder and disposal. It's a very good story. It's on 48 Hours. It's called the Tara Grinstead Mystery. Check it out. It's a very good story. It's worth the watch. Okay, we're going to go to my community page because I've asked you all some questions. I asked you questions about this lady and her mother. Kids found in a van died of carbon monoxide, not freezing. Should she and her mother be charged with child neglect? Because now they have information that the little boy, 9, was covered with lice, and the sister, 2, her teeth were rotted. So give me your commentary on that. And also the services for Andy Stone took place yesterday. I asked you about Wendy Williams speaking publicly, 31 votes. Will she be put into a stricter facility? Order by a judge, 58% yes, 29% no, 13% not sure. Should Wendy continue to speak publicly about her guardianship despite the judge's order? Yes, 79%, 14% no, 7% not sure. Should Detroit grandmom be charged with the deaths of the kids found in the van at the casino parking garage? Yes, 73%. Wow, it went up. 15% no, 12% says not sure. State will not introduce Brian Kohlberger's DNA on knife sheath at trial. And I need to correct that. What I need to say is they're not going to tell you how they got the DNA, which is from the IgG search. Okay? I'm going to correct that here shortly. So, should they introduce it? That they found it through the IgG search? Because the defense feels like they violated Kohlberger's right by checking the database. Right, 12%. 76% of you said it's wrong. 12% of you said you're not sure. I can't find the question. I had a question on here I asked you all about. Maybe I passed it. Thought I asked you all about this audio. I said the audio is very bad. I said, even hear one of these girls mention seeing a man at 4 a.m., yet you wait almost 8 hours to call 911. Why are they trying to go back into the house? This don't make no damn sense. And then I told you about the update. This case is weird as F. And Anaya Blanchard, check out that story as well. I did a full that case back in fall of 19. I was on that case, White on Rice, and I watched the documentary early this morning. It's very good, about 48 hours. Learned some things that I did not know. Mr. G says, don't pass blame on surviving roommates. But how on earth can you ignore their behavior during the murders and early morning? I'm not that naive. I'm not built like that. Thank God. I'm not. I passed it, you guys. Your thoughts on the Idaho roommates 911 call. I want your thoughts. So comment below that post. Because now listening to this audio, it's very bizarre and strange to me. Still. My opinion has not changed from 2 years ago. It just hasn't changed. He was busy watching something. Yep, he got caught up somewhere and couldn't get out in time. The Idaho house was perfect peeping opportunity at night with lights on in there. Pale says she feels sorry for Wendy, okay? Yes, they should use his DNA. Yes, they should. Yeah, that's the issue. They agreed they agreed to not introduce how they got Kohlberger's DNA. So I'm going to go back on that post and reword that. I'm assuming it may be mentioned, but they're saying they can't mention how they got it, which is the IgG search, which don't make no sense. Because why not mention it? I don't think his rights were violated. That's a public database. So his rights are not violated because nobody put a gun to his head. He didn't put his DNA in there. He didn't sign a clause saying nobody could look and see it. So it doesn't make any sense. It's not his DNA. It's his father's DNA. The probability is the killer is related to this Mr. Kohlberger Sr. And that's how they were able to tie Kohlberger to the DNA on the sheath, the button. Whoever the killer is, they're related to this Mr. Kohlberger Sr. Well, Mr. Kohlberger Sr. don't have any other male children. And that's that. So how were his rights violated? The DNA is pertaining to the father, but whoever the killer is a descendant of the father. I don't even know why the state would agree to that. It's very weird to me. Take the polls on my community page. I'm going to check out of here. I'm at 3 hours now, 3 hours and 7 minutes. I thank you all for following this network. Thank you for following me on the Newsbreak app. I'm going to upload some more shorts this evening. I'm going to do one on Sean Puffy Combs. He is now facing a new federal charge. He has pled not guilty. They said he went to court. He's looking rough. He's looking gray in the head and gray in the beard. Also, R. Kelly has released a remix song, Residual, from Chris Brown's Residual. Everybody's doing remakes pertaining to Chris Brown's song. I don't really care about what the fuck R. Kelly's doing in prison. He's gone. Good riddance. So I don't care what he's doing in there. Could care less. Once again, should Wendy Williams be freed from her guardianship? I say yes. Put an end to this madness. Whatever happens, happens. If she decides to go back on the sauce, get high on drugs, that's her choice. She decides to give her credit card, debit card to her son, Pookie Ray Ray, that's her business. But at the moment, she does not seem incapacitated, in my opinion. Anything else you all want to touch on before I check out of here? Because I've been on 3 hours. I'm going to go back and listen again. Thank you. It's worth the watch. You know the queen gets crunk. I've been irritated anyway, so this is just another case for me to act a damn fool on. And as I said before, I don't want to seem mean in my commentary, but I just don't sugarcoat stuff like a lot of people. A lot of people really are afraid to give their opinion because they're worried about what people are going to think of them. I don't care. Because my journey is not your journey. And your journey is not my journey. And I view things in life different than people. That's why I'm still alive at 54. Because if I was to think like half of the people I know and how people act, especially this shit with this house and these kids, I'd probably be dead. Just keeping it real. If I was to walk around here, and I mean, that's why I wanted everybody to just think about what has been said with this 911 call. If I was to have behaved this way, I don't even know that I'd be alive today. I'm just keeping it real. Because I can't even imagine, like I just said earlier. I get up out my bed, I hear a noise, and I look down this little alleyway from my bedroom and see a guy walking out of the door. His back is to me. Or he looks at me. And then he goes out of the door. And then what do? I just, what? Lock the bedroom door only? Or do I try to run down the hall and lock the front door and then do what then? I'm just saying. Make it make sense. Somebody says, it's about what wasn't said in the 911 call that's got me thinking. Of course, that's my point. You never describe a bloody scene. Do you know how many 911 calls I've listened to since I was a child and watched true crime, 48 Hours Mystery, all of that? What was the in the 911 calls? Hurry, hurry, there's blood everywhere. Please hurry. Oh my God, there's blood everywhere. Oh my God, there's another one over here. He's bloody. Thank you. I know, Angela. I've discussed all of that. So anybody coming here late, feel free to go back and listen to the live. I chop up all of that. Latent footprints, Xana crying, blood running out the wall, Dylan opening and closing doors 3 times. You knew something was amiss before you saw Kohlberger. That is a problem for me. I don't care what Mr. G says. I don't care what Kaylee Dad says. He ain't realistic. Maybe he's in a bubble. He don't want to accept those girls did not behave in a normal way because their versions don't add up even to the interrogation of, I don't know what happened, but you sound like you knew what you were saying in the 911 call. So what's the difference between the 911 call and days later when you ain't under the influence of alcohol? Make it make sense. This shit ain't adding up. And all through the 911 call, you don't hear nothing about Ethan Chapin. Why not? Matter of fact, that's the next live I'm gonna do tonight after I eat dinner. I'll be back on in a few hours and I'm gonna drop the link and I hope somebody will be brazen enough to come up and join the Queen. But we're gonna talk about that because this is gonna be a continued conversation until August. Where was the urgency for a description and Ethan Chapin? I don't think they knew he was there. Pale Rider, what are you saying? What do you mean they didn't know? That guy comes in on the 911 call. Remember, I played the audio earlier where Mr. Gonsalves says Hunter was shocked and, stunned to see his friend like that. That means he was in the house too. So this goes back to what we were saying 2 years ago. How many people in the driveway? How many people did you call? This audio is proof you told people about those kids before you called 911. First, it's the neighbor talking on the 911 call, which is odd. What made her come outside the house? Then you got to ask yourself, what kind of neighbor is she? Next door neighbor or 5 blocks down the road neighbor? That means you called her too. See, you don't really know what's the truth, and that's bothering the fuck out of me. Right. He was a boyfriend. Right. He didn't live there. Right. Okay. So Hunter, the guy that's on the 911 call, how did he get there? This is why I keep telling everybody, you all need to go back and listen to the fucking call. That's why I put their on the screen. I left the screen on roommate number 2 because I missed it at first. It's telling you Dylan is the one doing the talking at the beginning of the audio. And you hear her call Bethany's name to come on, to go back in the house. So how are you talking to her if she's passed out outside? So maybe everybody's got this wrong. What if nobody passed out outside? Because that's what it's looking like to me. That all along this call is about those kids seeing dead people, ran outside, called, couldn't talk, and everybody else passing the phone because they were notified before 911, and I have a problem with that. Why are you calling all of these people to say your friends are dead? Oh, excuse me, Xana. Make it make sense. Why are we only talking about Xana being dead? Why are we not saying that she's bludgeoned to death? There's blood. I can smell blood. I can see blood. You can't explain this logically. Nobody right now could come to Queen and say, well, Queen, this is what I think. I would not listen to you. I would not listen to you. Because you can't make me understand why there's no mention of Ethan Chapin. It's all about Xana. She won't wake up. She won't wake up. She passed out. She drunk. Okay, well, where was Ethan then? If you knew that she was passed out drunk, then where was Ethan? Make it make sense. She, not they. And then if she's passed out drunk, bloody, where do you think your other two friends are? Come on now. Let's keep this real. You give no description of a bloody Xana. You don't mention Ethan Chapin, and you don't even talk about the other two girls to say, maybe we should go check on them. Okay. What we talking about here, we playing detective. No, we minding our business. That's what we're doing. Best you find you something to do. There's no description of a horrific scene. It doesn't make sense. There's no mention of this young man. There's no mention of a horrific scene. And nobody's even saying, well, I think we better go upstairs and check on the other two. Something's off. Something is majorly off. Because now that I've listened to the video, the audio, in its entirety, there is something terribly wrong with these two kids. And the audio does not make any logical sense considering what we have heard happen in this house. 4 young people bludgeoned to death brutally, some with defensive wounds. And yet when you listen to the 911 call, you cannot tell that this is a horror scene of 4 people dead or of 1 or 2 dead. And something's off. And I'm trying to understand why there's no mention of, hey, this is bad. Hurry, send the ambulance. My friend is bloody. So what are you saying? You went in the room and it was pitch black, but you just saw her passed out. You couldn't tell she was bloody. I'm still going to say the same thing. Well, where was Ethan? Make it make sense. That's my commentary. I'll be back later. We're going to talk about Ethan Chapin. Why was there no mention of Ethan Chapin in the 911 call and a description of a bloody scene? Are we going to find out later that these young ladies knew that all people were dead in the house and did nothing? Are we going to find out at some point in life that they knew their friends were dead and walked over their dead bodies, looked at them, waited until morning to call and tell people about it, and then call 911? Because in the end, those people passing the phone is proof in the pudding that they called other people instead of dialing 911 first. And that ain't right. So much brutality. Don't be surprised if they had something to do with it, just saying. Well, Lennox, as I have said before, I'm not going to point the fingers at the two, but what I'm saying, and you can read it however you like, their behavior is suspicious to me. That's all I'm going to say. And has that pondered in my mind? Because I'm sure some of you have been wanting me to say this. Of course it has. I just don't dwell on it during a live stream. Because I deal in facts and facts only. Until I get something different, you understand what I'm saying? I only dwell on what's been given. But I've always questioned their relationships because that's just who Queen is. Because of one thing I know people. And I know that what you think you got with people, you ain't. As I've once said, the pocket you in ain't always the pocket you in. That's why I'm breaking this down, because something is not right. And the more I sit here and think about it, it's creeping me the fuck out. And that goes to what I just said about Ethan and Xana. Read between the lines. Because I'm telling you things without having to say it out loud. You don't find it strange. They're only addressing Xana in the fucking audio. Yet you saw a man walking through at 4 a.m. Dispatchers trying to divert you off of that. Trying to get you all to quit passing the phone around. Wondering why you're passing the phone around. Queen's trying to figure out how you're up there in the bedroom within 13 seconds. Did you run up there? And still I don't hear nothing about Ethan. Make it make sense. This ain't adding up. And no, I'm not going to say I think they did something or that they conspired some type of way, because you got to prove it. You got to prove it. Something is still not right. Because if you listen to this audio, a first-time person new to this case, you will not know that there are two dead people that are supposed to be in that fucking room together or nearby. Possibly Pale Rider. Maybe they were just roommates. Maybe they weren't as cozy as all those videos and pictures made them out to be. Kaylee posting that picture the day before. These are the people you like being around. Luckiest girl in the world, all that. Obviously, she wasn't that lucky. It's not to be rude, but come on, she's dead. And it is something to think about. Lucky girl to be around all these great people, yet she dies hours later from posting that picture. That's some spooky shit. And you can best believe Kohlberger saw that picture. He saw that photograph. And you know he looked and said, oh no, ain't gonna be no happiness tonight. That motherfucker lied in wait, and he rode around until everybody parked their fucking cars and started popping them lights off. You can best believe Kohlberger was already in the area before 4 o'clock, 4:15, 4:22. He'd been there. He was watching everything, making sure everybody was cozy under covers, comfortable. Because he's been there too many times. And it took that many times to build up the courage to go in that house and kill those kids. Of course he was. Because that's what he probably had been doing in Pennsylvania. And then Idaho was to jump off. And I still believe in my spirit that he possibly moved to this area for one of those girls. Take your pick. And I bet some of you have never thought about that. Did Kohlberger move to the Pacific Northwest to get close to one of those girls? Because you have to admit, it is too bizarre that this guy just got to Washington State to study criminology. He's gone all the way in college to exact a crime months after setting sail in the state of Washington. I want you to think about that. I've not left a stone unturned in this case. I have dissected everything from top to bottom. And I know that if something crosses my mind, there is usually some truth to it. He did not get to Washington by accident. I believe all this was pre-planned from Pennsylvania. He found these girls on social media first, not no Greek restaurant. No, ma'am. I got a feeling he found them. You know why? Because don't you find it strange the news brought us a story a year ago saying, matter of fact, it was Banfield from News Nation that said it. The state believes that possibly Kohlberger had been stalking the girls for a year. Bingo card. I said that before that broadcast was ever made. Oh yeah, Queen's tooting her horn now. You go back and watch my earlier content, you will hear me say it during a live stream. I asked the audience, I said, could it be Kohlberger moved to Washington State deliberately to get close to one of these girls? He found one on social media, took a liking to her, and applied to school to get close to her and or to harm her. And what'll be even more fucked up if we find out he applied to school at Idaho and was turned down. So he chose the next best thing, which was ding, 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 Washington State. Shut your mouth. Because it is not a coincidence that News Nation brought us this content last January, if I'm not mistaken. They mentioned it during the broadcast. That the state believes Kohlberger had been stalking the kids for over a year. Because they had found something in his data that shows him probably liking pictures a year before November 13, 2022. And that, my dear, is even more diabolical. To think this motherfucker had been stalking people from the East Coast and made plans and touched down and killed these kids and went to that house 12 times before November 13th. Say it again. Kohlberger went to that house 12 times before he killed them. So when he murdered them, that was unlucky 13. He doubled back less than 5 hours later. 14 times. Now you think about that. Pre-planned, orchestrated a year in advance. Well, Angela, that's why they mentioned it during the News Nation broadcast, because obviously somebody has looked in his data and they have seen a trail of evidence that leads farther back than November 13th. Farther back than summer 2022. And I'm telling you, that's scary as hell. And that's why I said to you all, if it was not Idaho 4, it was going to be somebody. Either Washington, Idaho, New York, New Jersey, Oregon, Utah, don't matter. We were going to be talking about Brian C. Kohlberger either way. That's my commentary. Like, share, subscribe, drop your comments below. Follow the queen here. News break. And if you'd like to donate to this great network, $McAndrew129 Cash App. Stickers and chats are always welcome during the live stream. I'll be back tonight, and we're going to chop up why Ethan Chapin was not mentioned during the 911 call. We also can go farther into the beast, the belly of the beast, and ask how long had Kohlberger been stalking these women. And I'm sure some of you want me to go out on a limb and also ask, did he have help? Because that's the one subject I don't like touching. Because I always need a receipt. And so far, nobody else has been arrested or implicated as a co-conspirator. But something is still amiss with this case. Thank you for your time. You've been listening to the Vault XL.